It ain't the size of the dog in the fight, right? But when big dogs do have sizable fight, look out. They'll cut your feet out with desire, then cut your heart out with cunning. The Philadelphia Flyers Legion of Doom, the largest forward line in the NHL. Hard to imagine anyone standing up to them, but Buffalo must build a way. Enter the men who last week found their tools and hard hats and went to work. The Yapmeister, the Strongman, the Shadow, the Zinger, the Silencer. Pumped up by their different and defiant nature, seeing clearly now the power in each fuels the power in all. Yes, the size of the fight in the dog holds the key for an endangered species. It is okay to call Matthew Barnaby the Yapmeister, isn't it? And he is ready for the game tonight. And wait till you see Eric Lindros. This game has obvious meaning, game one of round two. It also promises a little meanness. The Philadelphia Flyers Buffalo Sabres from Marine Midland Arena tonight in Western New York. As we welcome you to Molson Hockey Night in Canada and the Stanley Cup playoffs. With all due respect to the Buffalo Sabres, they've got home ice. They did beat Philadelphia twice in 5 days in March, but this is a case of Goliath trying to slay the giant, David rather, trying to slay the giant in the Philadelphia Flyers. They've got the biggest man, and I'm thinking about him right now, the best line, and obviously a team in the Eastern Conference that should contend for this Stanley Cup. But you know, Greg and Ken, this is exactly where they tripped up a year ago. It was the Florida Panthers. It should have been a break for Philadelphia. Now it's supposedly Buffalo, and I'm sure the Sabres have a feeling about that, don't they?
They sure do. The Sabres may be a no-name bunch, but they're not going to underestimate them. And who would have thought, Ron, that 3 weeks ago we'd be standing here round two of the playoffs, and it would be Garth Snow in for Ron Hextall and Steve Shields in, Greg, for Dominic Hasek.
Well, they were both marvelous in the first round, and you know, I think it's because they're big goaltenders. One is 6'2", and the other one, Garth Snow, is 6'3", but they've learned to use their size to their advantage. They're not all over the place in the crease now. They're playing a much more controlled style of goal, and that's why they've been so successful so far in the playoffs. And yes, their save percentage does tell the story.
Now the defense is comparable. The offense advantaged Philadelphia, but they had a big loss when Vaclav Prospo went down this week in practice with a broken wrist.
Well, he's been great on the power play for the Philadelphia Flyers, but Dale Howardchuk is now in. You know, he's got a lot to prove. He's never been by the second round in the playoffs, so he wants to do it this year.
And for Buffalo, the only change from Game 7 versus Ottawa is that Brad May is in, Ron. Ed Ronan is out.
Dale Howardchuk with Brindamore and Falloon. That'll be the number 2 line for the Philadelphia Flyers. When the Flyers lost to Florida, the big matchup was Brian Skrudland and Eric Lindros, and it's a match like that tonight. And with more on that story, let's go down to the marina, and good luck, Scott Oak.
Ron, here is the matchup. 5'11", 180 pounds versus 6'4", 230. And don't those dimensions make it seem more like a mismatch? But in the smaller Mike Pekka, the Sabres might have the best defensive forward in the game. And he's got a brief history with Eric Lindros, who is one of the game's most dominant players. Pekka was almost surgically attached to Lindros in the Sabres' last 2 games of the season with the Flyers. It's hard to keep an intense competitor like Lindros in check, but Pekka was effective. In fact, went one better on March 11th here in Buffalo. Lindros was stripped of the puck, and Pekka scored the overtime winner. Not only was Lindros checked, he was frustrated. Eric Lindros has been in the league for 5 years now, and as one of the game's great players, he knows all the tricks, so foolish would be the commentator who'd attempt to draw him into an inflammatory response over a game that occurred almost 2 months ago.
You guys are really looking for stuff here. You're digging really hard, Scott. You guys are really working. You guys are doing a fantastic job. No, you know what? I made a mistake in overtime. I lost the puck in our own end. You know, we lost the game, obviously. It's not a big concern of mine. I don't think it'll happen again.
Well, I don't know. I like to think, you know, I want to be. Yeah, I guess, yeah. I want to become a preoccupation with him, whether it's what I say to him or how I play. Anything to take his mind off any sort of part of his game will help us.
There's a startling contrast in size between the Flyers and the Sabres know that to overcome it in this series, Pekka must somehow disrupt Lindros' game. You need only look at the season series to understand why. The Sabres won it with a record of 2-1-1, in large part because of Pekka's work on Lindros. Ron.
Scott, that's excellent work. If Eric Lindros isn't Mark Messier in that clip, I don't know who he is. And how about you? You're Mike Wallace. It's a matchup. It'll be a dandy tonight. The Buffalo Sabres, Philadelphia Flyers. More on that story coming up with Kelly Rudy on Molson Hockey Night in Canada and the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Two teams want the Stanley Cup, but they're going to have to take it away from you and three friends first. Same goes for the Grey Cup. Or the Molson Indy. You're there with the cup until someone wins it. Molson Exports Extreme Ticket Contest. Your exclusive ticket to the Stanley Cup, Grey Cup, or Molson Indy. Look for special marked cases. Must be legal drinking age. No purchase necessary. Another exclusive Molson Exports experience.
Who says Canada's too big to drive? Rediscover Canada with Ford. Call 1-888-456-5555 for your free Canada Vacation Guide or CD-ROM.
Molson Hockey Night in Canada on CBC, brought to you by Molson Exports, the Extreme Ticket Contest, another Molson Exports experience, by Ford Motor Company of Canada Limited, and by 7-Up. Get clear.
En route to Buffalo, we're back at the broadcast center, and as promised, here's Kelly Rudy. Going to sit like this and think a little bit about this game. What do you think of the Philadelphia Flyers? Right, Grapes, you know what that all means. We're worried about this one.
Well, I like the Flyers, and I like them because of their depth. And when you have players like Howard-Chuck and Otto and Klatt and Druce, and those are your role players, you have a really strong team.
Paul Coffey had a bad knee, I guess, a little wonky knee in the last series, but you expect him to be a big leader?
Well, always. And Paul has always risen to the challenge of the playoffs, and they love his speed and his quarterbacking on the power play, and that's what we've all come to like about Paul.
What about the Buffalo Sabres? Now we know Hasek's suspended, so maybe it's not a distraction, but I have to think it is if they fall behind early in this thing.
Well, they've had distractions all year long with Pat LaFontaine and his injury, so this is nothing new to the Sabres, and they'll overcome it.
Two young goalies who've been absolutely great. Let's get the story from another goalie who's with Ken Daniels. Ken?
Thank you, Ron. To a man after their scintillating Game 7 overtime victory over Ottawa, the Sabres credited their seventh man, this loud crowd, for igniting their rally. Right off the bat, it's the Legion of Doom versus what you could call the Legion of Who. Pekka Warden on right away. Pekka slams Jani Niinimaa. We'll see this matchup, of course, throughout Game 1, and Ted Nolan will see how it goes, but Pekka won't be able to do it alone against this big threesome. Right away, the Let's Go Sabres chant is up here at the Marine Midland Arena. Backhanded into the corner. Niinimaa knocked it through, centered in front, but knocked away. Renberg to John LeClair, left wing side with some room, being hooked, shoots, and Steve Shields with the first save of the game, and it's a big one, just 36 seconds in.
Well, you know, Ken, the one thing that the Buffalo Sabres do not want to do is give the Flyers space. They want to keep very close to them. Now, right here, a little bit too much space by Schmelik on Leclerc, and you can't give a big man that much room to come in, but an excellent job by Steve Shields. He holds his ground and doesn't buy shot. He's thinking shot all the way. That's why he holds his ground down in the butterfly and makes an excellent first save, and that will give Shields the confidence he needs in this building early, once again on John LeClair.
John LeClair with 97 points this season, matching his point production of last season. Right off the draw, Falloon the shot, and that's stopped by Shields. Falloon with a pretty good stretch run for the Philadelphia Flyers. A great portion of that was playing with Vaclav Prospal. Now Dale Howard-Chuck up on that line, along with Rob Brindamore. Flyers hoping Falloon can keep it going. Chris Terry moves that puck ahead. Howard-Chuck sends one in deep. Back to the point, held in. Desjardins, the shot. Hit a body in front, comes to the near side. Brown back of the net, setting up his Falloon, side of the goal. And Shields able to hold on to that.
Well, the Flyers have started in a hurry as expected. And the Buffalo Sabres, they want to get their speed and forechecking going, but the Philadelphia Flyers, well, their lineup, we've talked about it on defense, pretty much the way it's been all season long. Desjardins is the quarterback on this Flyer defense. And at forward, of course, Dale Howarchuk in for Prospel. He'll play with Brindamore and Falloon. The other three lines are pretty much the way they have been all season long.
Dale Howarchuk hasn't scored a goal since January the 21st. Of course, didn't play a lot down the stretch, what with his injuries, but if he can get going and pick up the slack with Prospel being out, it will be a huge plus for Philadelphia. Bob Bugner got it around to Barnaby. Bad giveaway on. What a save. As Sabres is stopped by Shields, but what was Barnaby thinking with that outlet pass? Now he'll get it out safely to center. This sent in deep. Snow comes out to play it to negate the icing. Sent around the boards, a giveaway in Flyer territory. Backhand in front. Just shot wide by Grosek. Barnaby to Grosek. It hopped over his stick. On the near side, Grosek on it again as no one in front. And just out of his reach. And it's sent out by Zubris and up and out of play.
Boy, Ken, that would have been icing, and Snow stopped it behind the net, and that created 3 good chances to score. And before that, Matthew Barnaby went through the middle, something you cannot do against the Philadelphia Flyers. If you don't have a play early in a hockey game, it has to go off the boards and out. Now, what is Barnaby doing? He's getting good pressure by Paul Coffey. So all he has to do in that play is chip it by Coffey, and he has an opportunity for a 2-on-1. A young mistake as he tries to go through the middle. Now, the Buffalo Sabres, they don't change much from their Game 7 victory against the Ottawa Senators. Certainly their defense pairings with Zhitnik leading the way has been wonderful. But up front, one little small change. Brad May is back in. He's been hurting because of a shoulder injury. He is back in now. Ted Nolan wants the size of May in the lineup.
And he's out there along with Primo and Ray. That's the line out there right now for the Buffalo Sabres. Galley off the draw. Failed to get that puck in deep. Sean Podine went after it. Comes out to center. Sent back to that Philadelphia line. Nienema had trouble with it at center. Now gathers that puck in. Long shot. Shields flexing to make that save. And Buffalo able to clear it down. Nienema paired on defense along with Peter Svoboda, and they had a strong first-round series against the Pittsburgh Penguins. Long shot, and Shields will stop that one off the stick of Sean Podine.
Well, at the start of the series, the coaches do their homework and what they want to do, and certainly move the puck fast is very important for the Buffalo Sabres. They want to use their speed against a huge Philadelphia Flyers. Take away space. We talked about that in the first rush of the hockey game. Not let their big frames going, and their power play. 2 for 27 against the Ottawa Senators. It must be much better, and Ted Nolan knows it.
Purge scored on the power play in Game 1 versus Ottawa. Audette in Game 7, and that was it. Flyers, conversely, were 4 for 29 versus Pittsburgh with the man advantage. Eric Lindros at center with LeClaire and Renberg, and that'll bring Mike Peck out for the Buffalo Sabres, who bring it through. Zhitnik stopped at center now. He'll send it in off the leg. Pekka with the shot. Snow out to make the save. The puck still loose. Lying there side of the crease, and they couldn't bang it home. Good pressure up front from Don Ward against the Legion of Doom. Pekka again to knock it in deep. And Zhitnik and Schmelik will be out there most of the night when Eric Lindros' unit is up front for the Flyers. Here's a puck that was failed to knock down. Into Renberg, and it hopped over his stick. Renberg back of the goal, leaving for Lindros. Cross-ice pass, LeClaire in front. Puck never got to him. Bouncing side of the net, Zhitnik held off LeClaire, and Buffalo comes back the other way. Peck has lost his helmet. He'll head to the bench as Daw sends it in deep. Eric Desjardins to Chris Terrien. Off his stick, and Buffalo will wrap it in again. Randy Burridge on the move up there along with Holzinger. Puck down the ice. This will be icing as Daryl Shannon is back to get it. 16:24 to go in a quick pace first. We're still scoreless in Buffalo.
Soccer sure has changed since I played. 30-foot rises. contracting goals. This game is nothing like we could have ever imagined. And it all started with All Sport.
But today's athlete can choose All Sport. For fluid replacement and great taste, All Sport Body Quencher. The game will never be the same.
Can your deodorant last as long as you can? New Speed Stick Clear glides on clean and fights odor around the clock. Now, tough 24-hour protection is totally clear.
Critics are calling the #1 movie in the country, the first great action film of the year. Volcano is terrific, spectacular, non-stop excitement. Take the ride. You'll have a hell of a time. Volcano. Now playing.
Well, the Sabres have a few ideas of what to do against Garth Snow. First of all, they're going to try and shoot it in all the time. Now, a break for the Sabres, but look how far Garth Snow is out of the net. How do you play against a goaltender that is that assertive? You change the angle, look for 5-hole, or possibly pass by him.
Right off the draw, that's sent into the corner. Flyers clear it up the boards and out to center. Shannon knocked that puck down. Left it there, but out comes Howard-Chuck. Up with Brindamore, but Howard-Chuck's shot goes sailing up into the NC.
Yeah, and just to finish that thought on Snow, you change the angle. Why? Well, you change the angle on Snow because if he's out so far, he can't recover back into his goal crease. You look for 5-hole because if a goalie's moving out, the 5-hole will be open. And the third thing you do is you pass by a goalie that comes way out of his crease, and those are the things that the Sabres will be looking to do against Garth Snow.
Dale Howard-Chuck, his 16th season, won the Calder in 81-82 with Winnipeg, and as you mentioned off the top, Greg, he has something to prove.
Well, he sure does. I mean, he's never been by the second round, Ken, and he's 16 years in the National Hockey League. He knows this may be his last chance at a cup, and now he's elevated to the second line, and his groin has been much better due to the rest that he's had this week.
Off the draw, Schmelik. Moving it ahead. Comes back to Zhitnik. Set in back of the net. Garth Snow out to play it. Back of the goal, a giveaway. Centered in front. Oh, what a save by Garth Snow! As he robbed Ray. Right in the goal crease. What a chance for Buffalo. Ray gets chased again, but he won't catch up to this one. Desjardins. Sent in deep by Leclerc. Now it comes around the galley. Fans wanted a penalty behind the play as Bob Bugner was dumped. He's checking for blood. Don Koharski had not indicated one. Now checking with linesman Wayne Bonney and Brad Lazarowicz.
Well, let's see if Koharski can figure this one out. Obviously, if Bugner is going off the ice, he is cut. And who was it? Gave him a stick in the face. The boat is arguing it. Here comes Bugner around the crease. Oh, that's an awful stick. Brutal by Kordic. And you're definitely responsible for your own stick, and it'll be interesting to see what kind of infraction Koharski gives out in this situation.
Well, Gary Galley's seemed to be saying, why isn't it 5 in a game?
Yeah, I
see what he's got.
I don't disagree with him.
2 minutes for high sticking and a second 2 minutes for high sticking.
Well, there you have it, 2 and 2.
That was called by the linesman. I don't think Koharski saw it. Or it may have been different.
We hope Bob Bugner will be okay. Dan Kordic, 6'5", Edmonton native. 210 minutes in penalties during the regular season, second most in the Philadelphia Flyers, next to Scott Daniels, who's not in the lineup tonight.
Well, there's just no excuse for this, period.
Oh.
Ted Nolan, and I don't blame him, is hot over this situation. He doesn't like it one bit. Terry Murray, this is a concern that he has. He wants his team to play a disciplined style of game and not worry about all the antics that might be going on by the Buffalo Sabres, and he knows that he can't get into penalty trouble. He has the best team. He has a better team on paper, but that doesn't mean that wins series in this league.
There you see the numbers. But it's the Buffalo Sabres who are on the power play.
Now, against the Ottawa Senators, the Buffalo Sabres were having a lot of problems with down ice pressure by the forwards. Let's see if Philadelphia does the same thing against them.
So Buffalo sets up on the power play. Right wing feed for Pekka. Dropped it back. Pekka now goes after it in the corner. Up there along with Burge, but Philadelphia got there first, and that'll be icing. Prior to the game, we asked Terry Murray about how to handle the Buffalo forechecking and checking in Game 1.
We want to initiate, not retaliate. I think that's going to be a very important part of the series. Sabres do a good job of getting themselves in the way of disrupting the flow and trying to disturb you. And I think if you end up retaliating, it's going to cost you. Their power play has been pretty good in the last series, and we've got to be careful of that.
Well, as advertised, he has to be very careful about that. And they're in the box right now.
That point shot is blocked. That came off the stick of Desjardins, who's on defense along with Chris Therien to try and kill off this first Buffalo Sabres power play. Sent in by Grosek. Around back of the net, Snow to stop it there. Around the boards, helped by Brindamore to the line, and he'll get that puck out. Gets a quick feed ahead for Klatt into Therien, and just off his stick before Chris Therien could get a shot away. Shannon now will start out for Buffalo. On the point along with Gary Galley. His lead feed is picked off. Turning with it is Otto. The pass in for Brindamore was blocked. Otto is bumped, and Philadelphia controls.
And again, the same problem is surfaced. Down ice pressure against the Sabres. They can't handle it, even when they're on the power play.
Sean Podine, Joel Otto up front for Philadelphia. Sabres power play just 2 for 27. Round 1 versus Ottawa. And they were 26th in the NHL during the regular season. Still have 2:40 to go in what was the double minor for high sticking. Dan Kordic sent in front. That's past Dawn all the way back into Buffalo territory. The last thing the Sabres want is for their fans to get on them here. They were such a boost as that's crossed 2 lines offside. They don't want their fans getting on them early because it was so important in Game 7 versus Ottawa.
Well, we talked about what the Sabres want to do. How about the Flyers? Well, obviously they have to use their size, particularly against the man-on-man defense that the Sabres love to play in their own zone. Be disciplined against the Sabre pests. We've mentioned that often in this first period. And second and third line production. We all know about the Legion of Doom, but to win a Stanley Cup, you better have all your players on the ice going. Your second and third lines become very important if the Eric Lindros line gets shut down at all throughout a hockey game.
Flyers' Terry Murray said the Sabres are the favorites. They have home ice. They took the season series. Ted Nolan says, good try. No one expects us to win. We just have to have fun. Here comes Buffalo looking for the opening goal of this hockey game on the power play. Zhitnik around back of the net. Snow to play it, and he got dumped behind the goal. Sent in front as Snow got back in, but Ward couldn't handle the pass. Jason Daw to Dixon Ward. Settles that puck. Looks back to the point. Gets it there. Smellick the shot. The save made by Snow. The huge rebound came right back to Smellick. Back of the goal to Pekka. Daw in front. Ward on the far boards. Back of the net to slap it around. Held in. Good play by Zhitnik. Now to Ward to Pekka. Point Smellick. His shot deflected. Knocked down. Still fighting for it to the Sabres. Prevent the Flyers from clearing it. To the line. Kept in again. Here's Zhitnik. High slot. Shooting. And that's deflected over top of the net. Comes around to the near side. Smellick got over there to give it to Pekka. In tight quarters. Couldn't work it through. And finally Eric Lindros able to clear.
There's pressure by the Sabres when they get the puck to the middle of the ice on defense. That's the only time they seem to get pucks through from the point. It worked on that last sequence.
Galley slows it up. Goes cross ice, but here's Brindamore on a steal. The Sabres changing, able to block his path at center. Buffalo brings it in again, but offside is Derek Plant, the hero from Game 7 in overtime. Well, as we take you back in time, remember these two teams met in the Stanley Cup final back in 1975. The Philadelphia Flyers outscored Buffalo 19-12. Roger Crozier for the Buffalo Sabres. Buffalo took out Chicago, then Montreal before losing to the Philadelphia Flyers in the Cup final. The Flyers beat Toronto and the New York Islanders that year before disposing of the Sabres. And Greg, you know this man?
Yeah, Fred Shero.
Shot in by Gallian offside at the Philadelphia blue line with 44 seconds left. The double minor to Dan Kordic.
Donald Audette was one of the players this morning that said he's going to look 5-hole on Garth Snow. When he starts to move out and challenge, obviously that's when a goaltender's legs will open up. Donald Audette has a wonderful release, and he will use it against Snow if he has the opportunity.
Donald Audette led Buffalo with 28 goals in the regular season, scored 2 in the first round of the playoffs. Pass ahead for Grosek. Collects it at the Philadelphia line. Grosek around back of the net. Philadelphia will whack one around the boards. The good Sabre bounce, though, held in at the point by Holzinger, but then the pass back by Plant was deflected back into Buffalo territory. The Flyers change up their penalty-killing unit. Sabres with one last try. Long shot in, and Snow kicked that one away. Audette gives chase, but Brindamore gobbled up that puck. Around the boards, but not out. Jitnik held it in. Back to the high slot, and the puck came out to center. Dan Kordic is out of the box. So a big penalty kill for the Philadelphia Flyers, killing off 4 minutes. The Sabres fail to score. Long shot in on Snow, had trouble with it. Sent around back of the boards to the line, but not out. That shot deflected. Snow back of the net. Plays it around the board. Shannon had pinched in to hold that puck in. All coffee. Right knee, a little bit better than it was. Hurt it down the stretch against Montreal late in the season. Had somewhat of a shaky first round paired with Dykhouse on defense. Primo held it in. That went off of Brad May off the high glass, but not out. May over there again. Shot kicked away by Snow. May out there with Primo and Ray. Moved ahead quickly to Renberg, up with Lindros. Leclerc catching up. Renberg turning tail on Wilson. Couldn't center. Penalty coming up to the Buffalo Sabres as Philadelphia has it at center ice. Garth Snow notices that. He heads to the bench. A giveaway. Shot off the post. Wouldn't have counted anyway. But Philadelphia will head to the power play with 10:22 to go, first period.
Welcome to Burgerama. May I take your order?
Yeah, we get a double cheese. Didn't you used to play for the Blackhawks?
Yeah, used to play for the Blackhawks until Sergei Fedorov showed up. His explosive skating style and a powerful shot that exposed a weak glove hand. Weak glove hand.
Down one double cheese.
Mr. Long-haired Russian freak boy skating around his fancy Nike skates. I was employee of the month.
The internet is about the free exchange of ideas, being free to cross borders. And for a limited time, if you're a Bell Real Plus Extra customer, it's just plain free. Because we'll give you a free starter kit and 5 hours of free Simpatico internet access every month for a year. So if you're already a Bell Real Plus Extra customer, welcome to the internet. And if you're not, well, maybe now you know why thousands of people are switching back to Bell. Call now for your free connection.
The Flyers head to the power play with Brad May in the box for slashing.
Yes, it was just on the back check and a little tap. But a good enough tap for 2 minutes as Koharski was looking right at Brad May.
Brad May missed the last 2 games of Game 7 versus Ottawa with the bad shoulder and bad hand, but in tonight. So Eric Lindros not out there to start this power play for Philadelphia. Niinema, Coffey on defense, and Niinema so good with that puck for a rookie and so poised as Niinema leads the rush. Skates away at center. 24 of Niinema's 44 points came on the power play.
Don't forget Pekka. He will really cheat when he's killing penalties out of the zone. He'll leave the zone before the puck does.
Here comes Nienema, right wing side. Sends it to open ice. Rod Brindamore caught up with the puck. Brindamore out there along with Howard. Chuck who's whacking at it. The Sabres will take that puck free. Smellick sends it rink wide in for Daw. Back of the goal, worked it to the corner. And now he gives chase as Philadelphia moves it up. Brindamore. Long shot in. Shields will play it. Got it to the line with some helping out. Brindamore at center. Bumped to the ice by Daw, and the Sabres dig that puck free and will kill off some more time. With less than a minute to go in this Flyer power play. We're still scoreless. We've passed the halfway mark. First period here in Buffalo. Coffey to Lindros and back for Paul Coffey. Did not have a point, did Coffey, during the first round against the Pittsburgh Penguins. The only Flyer regular without a point coming out of that series. Here's Renberg. Left wing side, looks back, spots Lindros. Centering in front, that's blocked. Holzinger after it, and he'll take it and send it down.
And the Flyers seem to be feeling the effect of their layoff a little bit here in the first period. Their passes aren't sharp, they're off the mark.
You'd think that Buffalo will really have to catch them here. First period, take advantage. Lindros' shot, that was blocked. And against him is big Mike Wilson. Matching in size at 6'6". Leclerc sent it around to an open wing. Defense not there, and Buffalo able to clear May out of the box. And Pekka on his way! And couldn't get the shot away. Pekka was pushed off the puck in a good defensive play. Here's May into the slot. That's knocked away. Comes back to May, then lost it off his stick.
There's Pekka once again cheating. Even though the penalty was over, he was well up the ice. Almost scored because of it. There's some good work by that Sabre penalty killing unit. And across the Philadelphia line and offside. Just one power play shot for the Flyers on that last chance. Scoreless first period.
This summer, rediscover Canada. But first, rediscover the new 98 Windstar. Discover the incredible value of Canada's best-selling extended-length minivan, available for the first time for only $249 a month. Discover the security of a 5-star safety rating. Move up to the luxury of quad captain's chairs and the most powerful engine in its class for only $49 more. So rediscover Windstar now, because value like this won't last forever.
Come on, Canada. It's your chance to gloat. 1-to-1 Challenge of Champions, June 1st on CBC.
You know, as a goaltender, you're always scared when a player comes out of the penalty box. You know that Garth Snow is yelling like crazy, but his teammates did not hear him. That sends Pekka in. Carl Dykhouse in the nick of time gets back. Maybe should have been a penalty, but that's a dangerous situation when a forward comes out of the penalty box to create a man advantage break.
Daniel Lacroix, along with Dan Kordic, and Dinas Zubris up front for the Philadelphia Flyers. Buffalo sends it in. Peter Svoboda got it around for Yanni Nienema. Forechecking it, Plant stole the puck off the skate. Snow will come out and hang on. Some good pressure by Buffalo as the sticks come up, and Barnaby's right in the middle of that.
And interesting how Lacroix gave Barnaby a shot and then just skated away. Now, Niemena has a great delay in his game. He delays here, but gets caught trying to go through the middle. And that's a dangerous play for a defenseman. And again, it's timing. And are the Flyers right now just a little bit, not too sharp, rather, because of the fact that their timing is off because of all the lack of practice time throughout the week or game time?
Well, there is Matthew Barnaby in round one. Had the silver tooth put in, and now round two with a Sabres logo on the second one. Matthew saying he's going to have a different one for every round the Sabre wins. Off the draw. Shot in, and the Flyers will bring it down. Desjardins fed one across into the corner. Platt couldn't come up with it. Sent through. That was stopped by Shields. Back of the net, Daryl Shannon in against Joel Otto. They collide. Randy Burge keeps it free. And Burge shot one into Philadelphia territory off the boards. Stolen there by Renberg. Renberg finds some room. Right wing side. Passing in front. And that was just out of the reach of Hodin. Centered in front. And Lindros will stop. That save was made. As Shields stops another one. Burge off the boards and out. And it's slapped back into the Philadelphia zone.
Again, Shields is very sharp early in this first period. I mean, 3 or 4 great chances by the Flyers. Shields, he has been right on the mark.
Here's Coffey. Leading the rush, going to his backhand as he likes to do. Coffey sets up back of the net. That's swept away from him by Zhitnik to the line. But Carl Dykhouse couldn't hold the puck in. Dykhouse backed up out of Lindros's reach. Dykhouse will try again. Giving it to Coffey. Spots John LeClaire left wing. Fake the shot. LeClaire looks in front. And that was just out of the reach of Pat Falloon. And moved up the center to Mike Pekka, and he'll just flip one in. Lindros on the bench. Pekka heads to his as Teddy Nolan keeps this matchup. Danny Needham has had some trouble holding on to that puck first period, then gave it away, but Shannon's shot was blocked. 5:45 to go, first period. We're still scoreless here in Buffalo. Needham off the boards to the Sabre line. Worked in by Philadelphia, but offside at the Buffalo blue line.
Well, Eric Lindros, you know, he has been so strong throughout this first period already. Good chance he just had on Shields. Because of his reach in the slot, he has such a long reach that even though he's checked, you can't check his stick. He's so good at that. Now, he's all tied up on the slot, but he still has the ability to get loose on Burge and get a good chance to score. 26 minutes he averaged against the Pittsburgh Penguins. In the first round, he's cut back his ice time to save his energy every shift, and it's been very effective for him in the first round. And again, another example of how he can use his tremendous size, strength, and his reach to get a good chance to score.
You mentioned 26 minutes, season average about 30. Rod Brindamore saying he's fresher. He knows he doesn't have to stay out there and do it all every single shift. He'll be around longer and through the playoffs, and certainly in third periods of games when they need him. Shields. They leave it there back in the net. Philadelphia changing. Sent back to the Flyer line. And scooped ahead. Desjardins went down. Goes to Lindros. On the far side over to Renberg. As Galley laid on the hit. Lindros was slow to get up. The fans love that here. And a hard hit as Shannon laid out LeClaire. Daryl Shannon sure put on the body in the first round against Ottawa as the play blowing down offside. 4:53 to go, first period. The Sabres and Flyers are scoreless.
Welcome to Speedy Brakes are what we do, with quality parts and a highly trained crew. We specialize in brakes, so you know, for any make or model, Speedy's the brake pro.
Think your brakes sound broke? Then hurry to Speedy right now and you'll save $40 off our top quality brake parts and labor.
Our estimate is free and it's the final price you'll see. We'll only fix what's needed and it's all guaranteed. Speedy knows what you need, service and value guaranteed.
It's time to take care of me. So you say there's a place that knows what I want? Show me.
Show me a place that'll make you feel great.
At Sears, we want you to feel great with your new fragrance. So if it's not right, we'll make it right. That's the Sears beauty benefit that comes with fragrances like these by Calvin Klein. Create your own gift set and we'll package it free in a special basket for Mother's Day.
All that and the beauty benefits. I'm yours.
Ooh, show me.
Well, how do you put Eric Lindros down? You have to catch him when he's off balance, and when you have that chance, you take advantage of it. There's Lindros with a hit. And an initial payback right here by Gary Galley on Lindros. Why? Because Lindros is off balance, and Galley knows it, so he knocks him down.
Sent on the near side. On it is Howard, chuck the shot, and that was stopped. As Shields made that save on a hard shot by Dale Howard-Chuck, who seems to have some jump going tonight. Howard-Chuck left wing side, tipped it in. Brindamore against Shannon. Near side, Barnaby, that's off the stick and out to center ice. Catching up. Plant, along with Groshek. Barnaby sets up in front. Rink wide, though, for Shannon. That's knocked down. And the Flyers take over. Howard-Chuck just clears to safety. Wilson. Off to Matthew Barnaby in the return feed for the big defenseman. Long shot in, easily handled by Garth Snow. Quick outlet feed to center. Long shot in, wide of the net. Shields came out to play it away from Trent Platt. Barnaby, he's knocked down to the ice by Otto. Platt back of the net. Podine in front. He's sent into Shields. He knocked him down. But he was knocked into Shields by a Buffalo Sabre player. Backhanded in deep by Desjardins. And out of play.
Well, when you're playing against a hot goaltender, you want to go to the net. But obviously, as a goaltender, you don't want somebody pushed in. Desjardins joins the attack, and Sean Podine gets all tied up with Shields right here. Now, was he pushed in or not? I think that Groshek pushed him in. And Groshek pushes him in, and this goes right off the goalpost. Good challenge here. Excellent challenge by Shields. He's right on the mark as Dale Howard-Chuck has a good chance down the boards. And again, Shields seems to be going down at the right time in that butterfly style.
With the Legion of Doom out there, Pekka's line out for Buffalo. Mike Pekka, Jason Dodd, Dixon Ward, Strelick and Jitnik on defense. 3:10 to go in a scoreless first period. Quick pass for Lindros. That was behind him. Strelick will go back to get this one. So the faceoff will come back into the Philadelphia Flyers zone.
As I mentioned in our opening, why was Shields so successful against the Ottawa Senators? Well, he was looking for shots. Great second effort, mind you, but he was in control for the most part. A good save because he's in control. He let Alexander Daig make the first move, and that's why he was so successful against the Ottawa Senators. And you know, he was poised. He said, what's the worst that can happen to me? I lose the hockey game. And that was the approach that he took throughout the Ottawa Senators series. And even in the 7th game, I asked him about his home record. He hadn't won a game at home. He said, you know, I'm due to win a hockey game here, so the odds are in my favor. That's the way this young man thinks. He seems to analyze every game beforehand and the approach that he's going to take to the game.
Took over for Dominik Hasek during Game 3 against Ottawa. Owns the third best goals against average these playoffs, 1.80, but now faces a much more potent offense.
And he really likes the Tiger Woods theory that he uses in concentration. It's SOB, strict order of business, meaning concentration. You just go about your business and don't worry about anything else. He's working on that.
Stopped all 11 Philadelphia shots tonight. Sabres have put in 6 from Garth Snow. Back of the goal. Come to Zubris. Took that feed from Sean Podine. Back of the net. Buffalo takes over. And got it out to center. Dakota was knocked off the puck, and Podine sends one back in as Philadelphia changing on the fly. Dinah Zubris, the fine rookie for the Flyers, put on the body. Ray off the boards and out to center. Moving up is Therien. He took a bump from Primo. They still fight for it. Puck is loose in there. Portick digging for it. Now they tie it up. 2:13 left, first period.
Mommy, I found something.
You thought it was over. You thought it was safe. You thought wrong.
What is it?
Mommy's very angry. A Steven Spielberg film, The Lost World. Starts Friday, May 23rd at theaters everywhere.
Well, during our first intermission from the files, Don Cherry went Hollywood back in 1991. That's certainly worth a look back. Coming up in our first intermission, 2:13 the playing time from now. Holzinger at center against Brindamore.
You know, the Sabres can really have done exactly what they've wanted to do so far in this first period. That's get their speed going and get some forechecking going against the Philadelphia Flyers. Just a solid get over the red line, shoot it in, and get some speedy attack on the blue line.
Marion, long shot in. Shields out to block that one. Brindamore playing center with Howard Chuck on his wing. Of course, Brindamore was playing wing when Flasco was in, but now moves into the center position. Pat Falloon, the other forward on this line. Falloon tied up back of the net by Galley. Spins off the hit. Here's Falloon working it. Back of the goal. Falloon out front. They're waiting for it in front of Audette. Three Sabres break loose. Audette right wing side. Burge goes to the front of the net. Audette takes the back pass in front for Burge, but it never got there. Flyers did that well to get back.
Desjardins was caught at the other end of the rink. He skated all the way back and just broke up a 3-on-1. What a play by Desjardins.
Moved ahead to Leclerc. Lindros goes after that puck. James Sitnik got his stick on him. That's why the fans thought there should have been a penalty. Shields didn't see that puck as it went over top of the net. Coffey in deep. Sent one through, and Lindros just deflected that one high. Around the near side, Coffey pitching in against Jason Daw. And the puck underneath them with 1:01 left, first period.
Now get a 28-point spring checkup, plus oil, lube, and filter, tire rotation, and a free jug of washer fluid, all for just $29.95. Only at Canadian Tire.
Well, as I mentioned, the Sabres had the ability to break out on a 3-on-1 because all the Flyers were caught. Here comes Desjardins right down the middle of your screen, and he breaks up the play as the Sabres had a wonderful chance. As a defenseman, the best thing you can do on the back check is come right down the middle of the ice if you're caught, because sooner or later the puck has to get into a good scoring position. Desjardins, the solid veteran defenseman for the Flyers, breaks up a terrific play after he was caught. He was the GOAT to begin with, but he got back and made a terrific defensive play to break up a 3-on-1 break by the Buffalo Sabres.
Joel Otto on this face-off.
Last end of
for Philadelphia.
This period.
Out comes Barnaby. He's knocked out of the play. And sent in by the Flyers. Around the boards, knocked down by Podine. It comes to Barnaby. And he'll move it ahead to Grosek. Grosek across the line, stopped in his tracks by Nienema. Puck is loose. Circling the goal. Shitnik was just out of reach, and here comes Nienema away for Philadelphia. Up with Podine, who takes the pass. Podine faked the shot, but runs out of real estate as Schmelik seals him to the end boards. Time winding down, first period. Podine trying to fight off the check. Sent in back of the net by Lindros. But Schmelik will move it up as the Sabres get it out. Philadelphia with a line change as it's sent in and off the high glass back of the net. Snow will handle it, leave it for Terry. As the first period comes to a close, don't forget, coming up in the first intermission, another edition of Crowd Noise as the playoff tradition continues here on CBC after 20 minutes in Buffalo. Sabres and Flyers are scoreless.
This is one of the most amazing things in the world. You can cut it, shape it, fasten it together, make just about anything you want out of it, and be really proud of what you've done. At Home Building Centers, we buy big, with more stores providing building supplies to people all across Canada. No matter how big a job you're facing, we can help you handle it. Home Building Centers, we've got your lumber.
When I'm with you, my darling, I swear to heaven above, you are my angel.
Introducing the new Chic FX Performer, the only razor with revolutionary flexible blades that bend, to hug the contours of your face. For a closeness you'll want to share. The new Schick FX Performer with flexible blades. Nothing gets you closer.
Green Acres is the place to be. Farm living is the life for me.
I just adore a penthouse view. Darling, I love you, but give me Park Avenue.
The chores.
The stores.
Fresh air.
Times Square.
Ford Explorer. It's at home anywhere.
Stanley Cup Crowd Noise, brought to you by Midas. For new, longer-lasting performance, friction carbon metallic brake pads.
More now on the new advance in brake technology announced by Midas. When tested by a major Canadian police force, these new carbon metallic brake pads lasted twice as long as ordinary brake pads. So now the police are spending more time on the road between repairs. In other news, donut shops are reporting their best sales in years.
New performance friction carbon metallic brake pads, now at Midas.
Hi, this is Carrie Rowe calling from Red Deer, Alberta. I just wanted to comment Wayne Gretzky on his awesome natural hat trick. We all love you here, Wayne. You're playing like you did in 1987. Too bad he overshadowed Mario Lemieux's goal, but I guess Mario should be used to that by now.
This is David Wan from Toronto. I'd just like to say directly to Mario Lemieux, hey Mario, you've given us your heart and soul in the playoffs and made us proud to be Canadians, but I'm pleading to you to give us just 2 more weeks of your time next year in Nagano. Wouldn't it be nice to finish your career with the one accomplishment you haven't had, an Olympic gold medal?
Hi, this is Dave Fife from Edmonton, New Brunswick. Hats off to the goalies in the playoffs. You know, when a player makes an error or has a bad game, sometimes it doesn't even show. When a goalie has a bad game, everybody's pointing his direction. So hats off to the goalies with all the pressure they endure during the series.
Stanley Cup Crowd Noise, brought to you by Midas. For new, longer-lasting performance, friction carbon metallic brake pads. To participate in Crowd Noise, call 1-900-870-0022. 95 cents per call. Callers must be 18 years or older.
Soccer sure has changed since I played. 30-foot rises. Contracting goals. This game is nothing like we could have ever imagined. And it all started with All Sport.
But today's athlete can choose All Sport. For fluid replacement and great taste, All Sport Body Quencher. The game will never be the same.
If you like home improvement, you're going to love Home Depot.
We have building materials, electrical supplies,
floor and wall, lighting.
It's like having multi-stores all under one roof.
This place is huge.
This is a grown-ups candy store.
We are the one-stop shop. Home Depot, there is no place like us.
Now open in Barrie, off Molson Park Drive at the 400 Highway. Landscape with frost-resistant Pro-Lawn edging. A 5-inch wide, 20-foot strips, just $6.93. Every day at the Home Depot.
Join the Molson Hockey Night in Canada on CBC website throughout the Stanley Cup playoffs. Our address is www.nhl-cbc-cup.com.
Fine first period in Buffalo. It's Philadelphia and the Sabres scoreless at the end of 20 minutes of play. For more on the story, let's go down to Gary Galley with Scott Oak.
Gary, you've got lots of playoff experience on your resume. How about the pace to start this game versus others you've been in the postseason?
Well, I think this one had a pretty good pace. A couple of power plays both sides, but there's a lot of banging and a lot of skating. It seems like it's a pretty quick pace, actually, so which is, we like it. It's our favor. We have a pretty quick team, so we can use our team speed and get a forecheck going here. We might be able to turn some pucks over.
Suggestion is, having got past Ottawa on a tough 7-game series, the pressure is off you guys now. You can relax and have some fun if that's possible in the Stanley Cup playoffs. Did we see any sign of that in the first period?
What pressure? Well, all along, Teddy has just tried to take the pressure off us. You know, he's been telling us all along that we've had a great year and just go out and have fun and work. And And we got down on ourselves a little bit in the first series. This series here, our attitude is no one really expects us. A lot of doubters again, so that's fine. It's right up our alley. We're just going to go out, have some fun, and see if we can't win some games at home here and make it into a real good series.
Thanks for your time, Gary.
Okay, thank you.
Done that so far, Gary. Tomorrow we're on the air with 2 games. At 2 o'clock Eastern, we'll be at the Meadowlands in East Rutherford, New Jersey. Tomorrow evening we'll be in Denver, Colorado. And let's pick up the story. Marty Brodeur got the shutout. Mike Richter stopped all but 1 of 33 shots he faced.
There, turns it over to Niedermeyer behind the net. Back to the point. Chambers to fake. Niedermeyer scores! Scott Niedermeyer on the power play. It's 1-0 New Jersey with 1 second left on the penalty to Estetikainen.
Our production during the regular season wasn't too good, so it's nice to see that we're able to help offensively during the playoffs now, and I think that's important. You know, there's a lot of tight checking, and quite often maybe it's the 4th or 5th guy coming in that's going to get the chance, and we've managed to score on our opportunities so far.
Scott Niedermeyer's goal, the story of Game 1. The Rangers try to rally against the Devils tomorrow afternoon, 2 ET. That's for morning viewers on the West Coast. And we'll also be in Denver prime time tomorrow night for the much ballyhooed battle in net there.
LeBlanc through center, Forsberg. Up over the line. A shot. Forsberg. And Bullet makes it 3-1.
What did you see in the Oilers for the first look at them in the playoffs? Were they fast? Were they rugged, or more than you expected?
Oh, they got a good team. They got a good lineup. They're young, and they're going to work hard. And maybe tonight they were a little bit tired, and we've got to expect them to come out much harder in the next game. Maybe they were a little bit tired since the Dallas game.
Absolutely. Peter, you were rolling in game number 1. The Oilers weren't. They'll change that tomorrow night, 7:30 Eastern, 5:30 Mountain, coast to coast on Hockey Night in Canada. Watch for the earring, and we'll hear from Kelly after the Files.
From the Files. Brought to you by Ford Motor Company of Canada Limited, makers of the new 1998 Ford Contour, and a proud founding sponsor of the Hockey Hall of Fame.
Tonight, Grapes goes gaga in La La Land.
You can do it. Just keep pedaling. I'm gonna let go now. Look, you're skating.
Remember the exhilaration of newfound freedom? So do we. The new restyled 1998 Mercury Mystique. Imagine yourself in a Mercury.
Molson Hockey Night in Canada on CBC.
April 18th, 1991 in Los Angeles, Don Cherry set a new fashion trend. I don't know what to say, ladies and gentlemen. What is this?
I've been out here a couple of days, and a couple of my friends, Sly and Arsenio, let me borrow a few things. Yes.
You want to talk about any of the players involved in this classic?
Yes, I want to first of all talk about Kelly Rudy. Here comes Kelly right now. You can see the little string there. See, isn't it? I think it's blue chiffon.
This prompted the NHL to conduct an earring.
From the Files. Brought to you by Ford Motor Company of Canada Limited, makers of the new 1998 Mercury Mystique, and a proud founding sponsor of the Hockey Hall of Fame.
David looks okay against Goliath so far. It's Philadelphia Buffalo 0-0 after 20 minutes of play at Marine Midland Arena. Kelly, what do you think of the first period?
Well, I really like the first period. I'm really impressed with Buffalo. I really think that they've elevated their play in comparison to the series that they had against Ottawa. And Philadelphia, they did have a bit of a slow start, but they've really come on. They've had a lot of good scoring chances, and Shields has really been up to the task.
They've had a layoff, so you might have expected them to be a little rusty. You know, their power play, the Flyers had 4 goals in the first 3 games against Pittsburgh, and then went 0 for 12, 0 for 14 now. So they need to get that part of their game rolling. And Buffalo's trying to get it going as well, and you had an example of that, right?
Right. Well, you can see that. As a matter of fact, Philadelphia, on their power play, they didn't drive the puck to the net. Now, in this series that we're going to see here with Buffalo's power play, watch every chance. Their power play has been bad all year long. So what do? They really simplify it and just throw the puck at the net every chance they get. They try and create a little bit of traffic in front of Snow, and another great chance. Look at, there's a deflection right there.
We're going to see another chance coming up. They really just drive the net, and that's really the most basic and most simple power play you can have. And it's worked for 100 years in the NHL, and it's always going to work because it creates a lot of problems for the goaltender.
Garth Snow, I wondered about him looking for the puck. It almost reminded me of Marty Brodeur in Montreal with all his friends and family there wanting to get a clean shot and not getting really anything coming through that he could handle.
Well, the worst part about the game is the mental part. And if you don't get any clean shots early and you start wondering, okay, what's going to happen here? Am I going to get a deflection? Is it going to go off my own guy? So it's a real task mentally.
John Davidson's going to address his shoulder pads and chest protector in after 40 minutes coming up after 2 periods, but he's something. The equipment he's got.
Well, every goaltender now, I originally think of Roy in Colorado, and now Snow here, and Hebert has mentioned a few days ago that he's gone to the bigger shoulder pads, and they're just massive from the back. I think I have to go to that style.
But he played well, and so did Shields. I thought he looked just dynamite again. He got one little bit of help there. I don't know if it was fair comment that he was pushed in. Groshek pushed the Philadelphia attacker in, but he got the post helping out the one.
And I love his composure. There's a little sequence there where we had the camera focused in on him, and he's just looking like, okay, this is fun, and he doesn't look stressed out or anything. And with his comments in the pass round and everything, you got to love the guy.
What about this 3-on-2 opportunity that you chose to show from the end of the period here?
Well, here's a chance that Buffalo doesn't get a lot of scoring chances, so when you finally get one, you really got to make the other team pay. And I love the idea here in that Audette's going to try and drive the net and get something going here, but really right on a 3-on-2 late in the period when you're not getting a ton of chances, just throw something there. You have the far winger driving to the far post and make something happen and make it tough for the goaltender, Snow.
I just got information. Bob Bugner, who got clipped, of course, by the high stick, which probably should have been a major, don't you think?
Absolutely.
It's the strangest thing in this year's playoffs. There have been very few majors, but he got 10 stitches, and he will be back, so that's good news.
They need him.
Looking forward to the second period. The Buffalo Sabres and Philadelphia Flyers deadlocked 0-0, and we'll have more from Marine Midland Arena when we continue with our 97 playoff coverage on Molson Hockey Night in Canada.
Be active, but beware. Use an ordinary stick antiperspirant, you get flaky white stuff. Until now, Gillette introduces new Clear Stick, a clear advantage against wetness, odor, and white stuff. New Gillette Clear Stick. Or try cool, refreshing clear gel.
Although there is some debate about it, the planet Earth is the only spot in the entire universe known to sustain life. And a part of that planet, as small as it may be, belongs to no one but you. All of which should help explain why we've put together the Earth's finest brands of yard equipment. Yard Machines, Yard Man, White, and Cub Cadet. Helping you care for it. MTD. For a growing world.
Hey, the man here's looking for his wife. Traveling with a guy with a baseball cap. Has anybody here seen him?
Looks like she got away from you, cowboy.
If someone you loved suddenly disappeared,
is there a possibility she could have left you?
My wife did not leave me.
I saw what happened.
what would you do to get her back?
What do you want?
Kurt Russell, Breakdown.
You better pray she's alive.
Now playing everywhere.
If you think your disposable razor shaves as comfortably as Gillette Sensor XL, try Sensor XL. We bet you don't go back to disposables. Because only Sensor XL has microfins for extra comfort.
Wow.
Take the Sensor XL challenge.
Sensor XL back.
Bet you don't go back.
This portion of Molson Hockey Night in Canada on CBC is brought to you by Ford Motor Company of Canada Limited and by 7-Up. Get clear.
Keith, for the experts who expected the bigger and stronger Flyers to walk to the Sabres, first period suggests that you're in a series, although I'm sure you're not surprised at that.
Well, we're not surprised by that. Certainly Buffalo's playing up that underdog role, but, you know, wasn't a fluke they had 92 points this season, so we're well aware of the fact that they're a good hockey team, and we'll have to be at our best to beat them.
A scoreless first period, and really the fact that Buffalo didn't get a goal in the first shouldn't come as any surprise. In 7 games against Ottawa, they had only scored 1 goal in the first period, now gone 8 games with just 1, while Philadelphia against Pittsburgh scored 6 goals in the first in 5 games, so to that extent, a pretty good first period for Buffalo, holding the Flyers off the score sheet.
And as you can tell, Ted Nolan wanted Pekka against Lindros, and he has the last change. He got his wish, as both players played a lot against each other and were quite physical as well in terms of their play. They were very assertive. Now, I asked Pekka what to do with Eric Lindros. He said, I want to make sure that every time I get a chance, I'm between him and the net, and I'm very close to him, so I don't give him any space on the ice to get that big frame moving.
I won't even say it. You go ahead, Greg. Who's in the arena? Eric Lindros will start at center against Mike Pekka for this second period.
Luger is back, as Ron McLean told us. No worse for wear other than a few stitches.
Well, he's had a rough playoff. Injured his left shoulder, partially separated. That early in round 1 against Ottawa, and now first game against Philadelphia got clipped. 3 of Eric Lindros' 11 shifts first period were without Mike Pekka on the ice for a total time of 1:55. It's opposite him now to start up. Lindros circles the goal. Puck left there as Pekka went in deep to force the Flyers out of the pocket. And it's cleared out to center. Pekka left it for Zhitnik. He'll hammer it in. That went off of Koharski at the line. Moving in is Zhitnik to Dixon Ward. Couldn't get the shot away. Rolls through, and Garceau will hang on to a face-off. Told you earlier, the Flyers and Sabres met Cup Finals 1975. They also hooked up in 1978 as well, when Philadelphia outscored Buffalo 16-11. Flyers won the second round matchup 4-1.
Yes, Flyer fans in the building tonight. I've been impressed with the Buffalo Sabres on their forecheck. The Flyers just can't seem to get out of their own end. Every time the Sabres create some pressure on the Flyer defense, they can't seem to make the first pass to get out.
Right off the draw, Terrien moves that puck ahead. That shot by Podine was stopped. Platt went after it, comes to Otto. Point to Desjardins with room, shooting, and Shields stopped that one off his shoulder. Otto couldn't hold that puck in. And it's brought out Audette. Into the corner, Holzinger in there, squeezed out of the play by Terrien. Audette left it there, Burge the shot. Slow stop, that one isn't sure where it is. Knocked it in behind the goal. Burge going after it again. As Podine flipped one high and out to center, settled there by Mike Wilson. Wilson, though, gave it away in a cross-ice pass. Flyers bringing it in. Podine tried to send one through. That was blocked, and Wilson with it gave away another one. Those orange sweaters not bright enough? They were not this ship. My, oh my, long shot in. That was stopped by Shields off the stick of Carl Dykhuis. Here's Howard Chuck centering. Another shot. That's blocked. Balloon couldn't get it, and out comes Buffalo. Boy, both sides tonight have given the puck away blatantly with cross-ice passes. Here comes Brindamore. Sends one through. Save made by Steve Shields. He kicked that one away as Howard Chuck went to the net, and that's something Shields will have to be careful of, because certainly Philadelphia will go to the net a little better than Ottawa did, and rebounds could be gobbled up. Snow left that puck back in the net. Sent around the near boards and tipped out to center ice. Going after it is Daniel Lacroix. Luger got it around back of the net as Lacroix went to lay on the body and missed and lost his stick. He's going to the bench. Hitting the boards took a lot out of him.
Snow a la Hextall. Played it up the boards. That was blocked by Derek Plant. But Eric Lindros is away, left wing side. Up with Zubers, the drop pass, and that shot was stopped. Rocha couldn't clear. Lindros on it, behind the net, out of Zubers' reach. Back of the goal for Lindros. Kordic in front of the net. Point shot, that's blocked, knocked down in front. Lindros on the rebound, couldn't bang it home. To the line and held in. Now in a second effort, Rocha will tip it ahead. Long shot in by Plant, went wide of Snow. Big rebound off the backboards as Niedema turns. Brad May went in to hit him. Those two went down. Moved ahead for Leclerc, left wing side. Shields will have to come out of the net to play it. Leclerc almost stole it from him. Moved up the boards to Brad May. Couldn't get the puck ahead to Primo, off the boards for Renberg on the delayed offside. He'll move it ahead quickly. Leclerc dropped it for Lindros, never got it. And that will allow Zhitnik to move it ahead. His pass too far for Rob Ray. Lindros too well covered at center by Primo, and this is what Ted Nolan said he'd do if he went with Mike Pekka at one point. He'd come back with Wayne Primo. And a good job by that Sabre line to hold the Legion of Doom in check. Here's Frank Platzak with the net. Left it there. Podine in front, trying, jamming it home is Otto. Puck still loose, and Podine just shot it wide. Platt on the puck. Gives it to Sean Podine. Forced into the end boards by Schmelik, who knocks him down. Platt to Joel Otto. Otto hit by Primo. This line at the end of a long shift. Then Buffalo able to clear. Sent in by Philadelphia and offside. The Flyers hadn't cleared the zone. 15:46 left, second period.
Two teams want the Stanley Cup, but they're gonna have to take it away from you and three friends first. Same goes for the Grey Cup. Or the Molson Indy. You're there with the cup until someone wins it. Molson Exports Extreme Ticket Contest. Your exclusive ticket to the Stanley Cup, Grey Cup, or Molson Indy. Look for special marked cases, must be legal drinking age, no purchase necessary. Another exclusive Molson Exports experience.
Welcome to Speedy Brakes are what we do, with quality parts and a highly trained crew. We specialize in brakes, so you know, for any make or model, Speedy's the brake pro.
Think your brakes sound broke? Then hurry to Speedy right now and you'll save $40 off our top quality brake parts and labor.
Our estimate is free and it's the final price you'll see. We'll only fix what's needed and it's all guaranteed. Speedy knows what you need, service and value guaranteed.
Still scoreless here in Buffalo. Here's Dominik Hasek sitting out the first of his three-game suspension handed down by the NHL 2 days ago. Dom, let's get a point of clarification here first. The suggestion was suspension wasn't as bad as it sounded because you might not be ready till Game 3 anyway. What's your status? Are you healthy? Could you have gone tonight?
I think the doctor cleared me to play. You know, I've been a couple of times already on the ice, you know, but the knee is still a little bit stiff. You know, it's like I'm not a forward, I'm a goalie, you know, I do different things on the ice, and but I hope I'll be ready for the Game 3.
Dom, quickly, what have you learned through all of this and the incident itself?
Oh, almost gone. It's a big lesson for me, you know. I already talked to media, you know, and talk to the fans, and you know, for me it's a lesson, you know, even somebody says about you what you know it's not true, you know, and you cannot handle like I did, you know, and I know I won't do the same thing in the future again.
Dominik, I thank you for your time. Maybe we'll see you in Game 4.
Okay, I hope so.
Ken.
You can bet that they'll see him in game number 4, and will he grab the Hart Trophy this season? The first goaltender since Jacques Plante to win it?
I think he's a lock. I mean, what a season he's had. 42 times he was 1, 2, or 3rd star in a hockey game of the 60-plus starts that he was in. So that just gives you an indication of how strong he was this season, and he was dominant.
You notice he almost played the role of analyst there when he said almost a goal. What is it? All goalies. He's trying to get into the act, too.
Randy Burridge almost caught Snow in the 5-hole, and we talked about that. When a goaltender moves out and plays an aggressive style, his legs sooner or later have to open up.
Puck bouncing at center for Grosek.
Move that puck ahead. Here's Plant passing across. That was deflected. Held in at the line. Plant going in after it. Paints Desjardins. Scramble forward in the corner. Barnaby moves one back to the point for Bugner. Barnaby let it go around back of the net. Snow. Back to the point it comes. Galley on the backhand. Fed one through. Back to the point. Bugner. One-time shot. Oh, that didn't miss by much on the stick side. Loose in front. Rebound.
Quick puck movement is what the Sabres want to do to create openings. Bugner with a good shot from the point that just fails to click. 1, 2, 3 Flyers chase the puck. That leaves Grosek wide open in front, and he keeps banging away until he bangs it by Garth Snow. But again, 1, 2, 3 forwards. For Flyer players, Therrien being the last one who falls down, and that's why Grosek is so open in front. With good depth to get it back to the point to force all the Flyer players to scramble down low, and that's why Grosek was open as well.
And what a slump he just broke. He had no goals his past 19 games, and as we look from the net cam, Michael Grosek breaks that slump with his first goal now in 20.
And a good play by Grosek to stay with the puck after he missed the initial shot, to find the rebound and throw it past Snow.
Here come the Flyers looking to tie it up. Good line to have out there. LeClaire, Lindros, and Renberg as Buffalo will clear. Grosek scored 15 goals during the regular season, but had just 5 during the second half. But gets a huge one here to put Buffalo in front 1-0.
And this is exactly what the Sabres wanted to do in this hockey game, is use their speed to create a forecheck, get the Flyer defense running around, and then go to the net. Grosek goes hard to the net, and 3 Flyers ended up on the ice. Grosek ended up wide open in front of Garth Snow. Therrien is the last Flyer to leave his feet, and as a defenseman, the last thing you want to do in the slot is go down and leave your feet, even if he was tripped up a little bit. Grosek stayed with it and was rewarded for it.
Well, Grosek, another one of those sort of no-name Buffalo Sabres. Why, Philadelphia, as we mentioned off the top, for what Florida did last year, a no-name group. These Sabres similar. You can't underestimate them. Niedermeyer being hooked off the puck by May. Centered it back in front. Ray can get it. 2-0 Sabres.
Well, I mentioned speed and down ice pressure, but is this a penalty? Niedermeyer gets all tripped up by May, and then a broken play by Svoboda, and May ends up getting the puck right on his stick past a sprawling Garth Snow, who has absolutely no idea where the puck is. But I'll tell you what, was that interference? It sure looked like it to me. No call. May ends up with their puck as it appears in front of Garth Snow. 2 goals in 42 seconds. And the Sabres building is alive.
Brad May's last goal was March 26th against the New York Islanders. So you had 2 guys who don't score often, Grosek and May, came up with a big one here. And how about Brad May, who missed the last 2 games of the Ottawa series, being hurt? Ed Ronan had played 3 games for Buffalo in his absence. Ronan hadn't lost. May back in tonight and comes up huge. Here come the Sabres again. Drop back on that, the shot. Oh, that was stopped. And Snow got an arm on that one. Long shot in and around the boards by Carl Dykhuis. Balloon is sealed into the end boards. Then Schmelik bumps his man. Balloon comes up with the puck, leaves it there for Brindamore. Howard Chuck on his backhand, spinning, shooting one through. Shields knocked that one away. Jitnik against Brindamore. Puck comes free into the slot, knocked past Howard Chuck and out to center.
You know, Ken, the Buffalo speed is really surfacing right now. They had a 3-on-2 one way.
That would have been offside.
And then came back and still had 4 men back on the counterattack by the Flyers.
Bugner moved up to lay on the body, and Galley punches his man coming down the far side. Zubris went and put on a hit. Now here's a break. Barnaby makes the move into the slot, but couldn't get the shot away. Into the corner, Groshek. Sabres up, pressing. Galley holds that puck in, knocked down, glove, and out come the Flyers. Flipped in by Desjardins.
Kelly Rudy made a good point after one intermission. The first intermission, rather, he said the Sabres have to shoot when they have a chance. Well, Barnaby had a good chance to shoot the puck, and he stopped. It was a little bit too fancy on that play.
Shots at this point, shots favor Philadelphia 19-13. Buffalo being outshot should come as no surprise, but they're making the most of their chances here tonight. Moved in, here comes Lindros, the shot. That will stop the Shields. Look out and grab that one. This building is alive with 11:58 to play, second period.
You've never seen anything like it, and it's headed for Canadian Tire. More selection, more parts for more makes and models of cars and light trucks, more quality brand names like Certified Brakes, Monroe Shocks, and TRW suspension parts. So now, you'll get the right parts when you need them at guaranteed low prices. Canadian Tire, Canada's auto parts store, made better.
Introducing the new Jeep Cherokee with over 40 advancements. It's noticeably improved.
Well, Ron Hextall celebrates birthday number 33 today.
And you know how tough it is on Ron Hextall to be sitting, although he is an excellent team player, and he will be ready if called upon.
I guess Terry Murray didn't want to play a hunch, play Hextall on his birthday. Boy, Curtis Joseph did okay on his birthday, getting the Edmonton Oilers in round number 2. Off the draw, Lindros couldn't get past Pekka. Draw on the far side into the corner. Lindros goes after it. Puck bounces to the line and out. Yanni Niedermayer, who will turn 22 this month. Move that puck ahead. Taking it right wing side. LeClaire. He's stopped. Puck is loose. Still digging for it. Ward is down, and Jitnik will carry out. 3 Sabres are up. Jitnik leading the attack. Jitnik feeds it off. Take the shot right in. Where is it? And it's knocked wide. Coffey hurt in is that Coffey hurt in behind Snow? It is. He gets up slowly. And now they're calling a penalty against Buffalo.
Coffey saved a goal, but I believe it hit his knee. And is that his sore knee that the puck hit as he limps off the ice? Another 3-on-2 by the Buffalo Sabres creates another good chance to score. And Coffey in the crease saves a goal. But this puck hit his knee and he limps off the ice.
Jason Dog had a holding the stick penalty. Coffey seems to be favoring his left knee. I think it was his right that he had hurt versus Montreal late in the season.
Probably got the puck in the kneecap, and I'll tell you what, that numbs your whole leg. A good 3-on-2 because Pekka goes to the net, and Daw drops back for the shot. Everybody thought it was in, including Zhitnik, who started this play off by joining the attack, and that was a good play by Zhitnik to join the attack to create the 3-on-2. And again, Kelly Rudy, after one period, said they need some shots, they need some net drive when they get a chance to create a 3-on-2, and that's exactly what the Sabres did on this chance. And somehow this puck stays out as Coffey sprawls, and he is still in considerable pain, favoring his knee.
Paul Coffey had just 34 points, 57 games the regular season. Only in his rookie year back in '81 did he have fewer points with 32. And pointless first round against Pittsburgh.
And the right of your frame of holding the stick infraction, there it is. And that's why Flyers are on the power play.
Power play that has seen them go 0 for their last 15. That's sent through and an easy save made by Steve Shields. But 3 of the 4 power play goals the Flyers have in the playoffs have come on the road.
You know, when you win the face-off and it goes right back to the point, as a defenseman, you have to delay a little bit so your forwards can get in front of the goaltender. On that last play, Desjardins had a shot. He didn't delay. Shields saw the puck all the way from the point.
And right off the draw, sent down the ice. Philadelphia working with the man advantage here. Puck came across and it was behind Dykhouse. He had to stop short. Balloon will move it in. Harold Shannon going after it. Against Dale Howard, Chuck, the former Buffalo Sabre. Burridge. Knocked it in back of the goal. Giving chase is Galley. Dykhouse sent one through. Flyers controlling. Howard, Chuck. Got that pass through. Brenda Moore, turn feed Howard, Chuck, high point, nice save made by Shields. Off that quick one-time shot by Desjardins, Shields stopped it. Dykhouse will lead the Philadelphia rush. 12 of his career goals, 5 have come in the power play for Dykhouse. Coffey, okay, he's back out there, and it went off a stick and up into the seats, and the face-off from outside the Sabres zone in the center ice area.
Well, Coffey's still favoring his knee, but trying to skate it off and bend his knee as much as possible to keep his mobility in it. What another good save by Steve Shields. He's reading so well this evening. He read that last one-timer from the point. He was well on top of it before it even happened.
Paul Coffey, 3-time Norris winner. First for defensemen in goals, assists, and points. Second in assists for all players. And then he goes back to pick up this puck now. The 35-year-old leading this Philadelphia rush. 35 seconds left on the man advantage. LeClaire going in after it. Picked it up first to Renberg. Looks back to the point. Got the return feed from Niederman. Sent one through. Lindros had it knocked away from him. Puck along the board, sent out by Schmelik. Oh, and a good play by Niederman as Pekka was racing down ice. Pekka will, of course, be a selfie candidate. Lets that puck go in deep.
And if you're wondering why the Flyers are having so many problems throughout this game, they have no puck support whatsoever. The player with the puck doesn't have anybody beside him to give and go with.
Here's Niederman. Crossed the line, took that shot, and Shields made the save and held on. As they came crashing in, as the player got his stick in on Shields, and all the Sabres gather around him. Well, prior to the game, we asked Ted Nolan about his Buffalo Sabres and how smart are they?
Well, you know, sometimes in the playoffs with a young team, certainly we're going to say some things with emotion and the right intentions, but you want to avoid saying things that's going to get the other team fired up. So last series, you know, we said a lot of things about shutting down Yashin and how we're going to do this and how to do that, and the other team got fired up so much, and we can't have any kind of extra motivational factor directed towards Philadelphia Flyers.
Ted Nolan said this morning he may have the hardest working team in hockey, not necessarily, though, the most intelligent. Stop the trash talking. Don't get them fired up if you don't have to. And Mike Pekka, one of the best trash talkers in the National Hockey League. But he has lots of company on that team. Dixon Ward, Jason Dahm, Matthew Barnaby.
You know, it's even more important when you have a 2-0 lead in a hockey game midway through the game. You don't want to give the opposing team anything at all to get excited about.
Right off the draw, and that shot whistled wide. Sean Podine had the chance. Back of the goal, it comes to Joel Otto. Spent 10 seasons and a bit with the Calgary Flames. Back to the line, and out it comes. Late pass in, Dykhouse getting back. And he's there to stop Michael Grosek. Grosek moving up with the puck, a giveaway. Barnaby the shot. And that was blocked as Porter caught in the way of that. The Flyers move it up. Here's Zubris into the high slot, fakes the shot, now he shoots, scores! Kordic on the rebound! Brings the Flyers within a goal, they trail it 2-1. Boy, Dan Kordic and Daniel Lacroix did not dress after game 1 with Pittsburgh. He didn't want to give the Pens a power play chance, but one of their rough guys comes up big.
Well, this is a 2-on-2 situation. And the defense get all crossed up. And Grosick, of course, is the forward trying to play defense, and he ends up letting Kordic go. And Bugner never gets back in time. Shannon on the switch. It's Shannon that doesn't get back, but it should be an easy 2-on-2. But because it's a forward trying to play defense, Michael Grosick, the switch doesn't happen. The two players get crossed up, and that's why Kordic ends up wide open in front of Steve Shields, who has no chance.
6'5" Dave Kordic playing just his second game these playoffs. In 134 games played in the regular season, he'd scored just 3 goals. Career. Now has one in just his second playoff game. Trent Platt with a rink wide pass. Otto in front. The pass never got to him from Sean Codine as it was blocked. Flyers holding it in momentarily. Now the Sabres will work it out to center. Platt knocked it down. Back to the Buffalo line and moved ahead for Burridge. He'll send one into Flyer territory. Snow flipped it up the board. Burridge held that puck in. Howard Chuck whacking at it. Schmelik knocked it down. Lead pass ahead for Platt, leaving it there. Brindamore! His shot and a nice save made there by Shields as that shot was labeled for his left side. Here comes Howard Chuck. He shoots and Shields grabs that one. They say Shields has a good left hand. He's showing it here. Buffalo leading 2-1.
Chevy Blazer with the exclusive driver control system. A little security in an insecure world.
The critics are raving about The Fifth Element.
Hang on.
It's a sky-high sci-fi entertainment thrill ride. 4 stars. The first big blast of the summer. In Star Wars for the 90s. Bruce Willis, The Fifth Element. Now playing.
A gentleman mustn't allow perspiration to run amok. Thus, new Right Guard Clear Stick. All the protection of a white stick with no flaky white stuff. New Right Guard Clear Stick. Anything less would be uncivilized.
Closed captioning of tonight's game is provided by the new Chevrolet Malibu.
18,500 here at Marine Midland Arena. Silenced just a bit by that Philadelphia goal, but they've been making noise, and you can make crowd noise too by calling 1-900-870-0022. 95 cents per call. Must be 18 years or older or with parental permission. Part of the playoff tradition here on CBC, and voice your views about the Stanley Cup playoffs. Knocked out to center. Dykhouse lost control. Plant on that puck. His shot is blocked. She couldn't catch up with it. Back of the goal for Barnaby. On the far side, flipped ahead and out to center. Brindamore to Pat Falloon. Falloon fell trying to make that move on Jitnik. Now it comes out to Derek Plant. He was the hero in Game 7. Leaves it there for Barnaby, and he must have taken a high stick. Barnaby goes down. He was grabbing his hand as he went to shoot. Here come the Flyers. Save made by Shields. Will hang on. Meantime, at the other end, Barnaby slow to get up.
And Garth Snow, who has had a fight with Barnaby 2 years ago, is chirping from the crease. Plant with a one-on-one situation here. Let's see. Barnaby ends up getting the stick, I believe, from the Flyers player, but completely unintentional. good call by Don Koharski. I mean, that was just a unintentional high stick all the way. Well, did Barnaby get it in the eye? He's certainly favoring that area.
Matthew
Snow chirping all the way from the net. And Garth Snow has been involved with the Buffalo Sabres before. And we mentioned he was chirping at Matthew Barnaby. Yes, that caused a pretty good fight. Barnaby didn't like it, but why? Because Snow was chirping at him just like he was doing a few moments ago. And then Garth Snow was at it again this year, February 4th, in a 1-1 tie. And even the goalies got at it.
He was into it that time with Rob Ray. 150 penalty minutes resulted in that one from that brawl. The icing call as Mike Pekka was in going after that puck, and now everybody into it. Renberg hocking it up, shoving it up along with Dixon Ward.
The Flyer is down, Kent, on the hit.
And that was on the icing play.
Peter Sabota.
Sabota now getting back up as we take a look. How many times have we seen broken legs on plays like that?
Pekka tries to reach for the puck. Ooh, he gives Sabota a pretty good ride into the boards on an icing call. And you can see Sabota, who has had problems with his knees before, looks like he's favoring his knee once again.
He was traded to Buffalo, Montreal for Kevin Haller, and traded from Buffalo to Philadelphia for Gary Galley. Of course, is on the other side tonight. Sabota makes his way off. So Coffey hurt his knee earlier, and now Sabota, although Coffey is back out. So the Flyers blue line hurting a little bit, trailing Buffalo 2-1 with 6:42 to go in the second period.
And although Pekka has been quite quiet so far this game, will not wake up the Philadelphia Flyers against them.
Remember, we told you off the top, the Mike Pekka, Eric Lindros situation when Pekka said of Lindros after he popped up the puck late in the game, superstar players like to lug the puck a bit. I don't know if he was showboating or trying to kill a little time. And of course, a few days later, they have to go into Philadelphia, and what does Mike Pekka do?
Well, the boys had a little fun in the morning skate. They changed the nameplates on the morning skate sweaters. Pekka became Spekka, and Grosick became Pekka. And Pekka, well, what did he do at night? He was first star of the hockey game in a very tough circumstance going back to Philadelphia against big Eric Lindros, who just had a little chat with Pekka after that hit as well.
Right off the draw, came through, and Shields able to hang on. And isn't it funny that they set up poor Michael Grosick, calling him Pekka?
And I asked Eric about it this morning, and he said to me, I'm after him. I wouldn't want to be Pekka.
Key for Eric Lindros for the Flyers to be successful is to stay out of the penalty box. Had just 3 minors in the series against Pittsburgh, and that's one of the things Mario Lemieux told him. Stay out of the penalty box. And Terry Murray said he was thankful for Lemieux to tell him that because he couldn't get it into his head. But Mario did. Here's Burge across the line, sent one through, puck still loose. Flyers clear it to the near boards, and a high stick there. Holzinger is going to get a penalty for high sticking. So the Philadelphia Flyers are going to head to a power play. A chance to even up this hockey game with 6:22 to go in the second.
And Holzinger right in front of Koharski retaliates, and that is definitely an undisciplined penalty by Holzinger. And with 6 minutes and 22 seconds to go in the second period, a good opportunity for the Flyers on their power play.
As we check in with Scott Oak.
All right, Ken, here's the Flyers come in for a considerable comment tonight, even if he's not playing. It's the rookie, Vaclav Prospel, who broke his wrist in practice on Wednesday, denying him a shot at his first Stanley Cup playoffs. How tough does that feel?
Well, it's a bad ending for a great season, you know, so it's a little disappointing, but it's a part of the game, and there's nothing I can do about it.
Dan Kordic just got the goal for the Flyers. I don't know if you had a feeling he was going to score tonight, but you said something to him in practice this morning.
Well, I couldn't obviously practice. I was watching the practice, and he was shooting the puck, and it was going in the net. I just told him in funny way to keep the stick for tonight, and he said, no, it doesn't work for him that way, and he just got a big goal for our team, so it's good.
Backlab, I thank you for your time. The stick did work for Dan Corey tonight in many ways.
Good for him and good for our team. So.
Ken.
All right, Scott, thank you. As Leclerc just missed, and it's Prospel who's normally on this first power play unit for Philadelphia down the stretch. They better beware because here comes Ward dropping one for Pekka. Leclerc got back to partially lift his stick. And with Prospel hurt, the first power play unit becomes the Legion of Doom for Terry Murray's Philadelphia Flyers. Niedermeyer moved it ahead for Coffey. Quick take pass to Eric Lindros. Lindros being hounded there by Zhitnik. Got it back of the net. Leclerc scoops it around the boards for Coffey. Back in behind the goal for Lindros. To Leclerc. Falloon is in front. Now goes in behind the net. Lindros pushed the puck to him. And it's pushed past Pat Falloon. And Zhitnik will carry out for Buffalo. Alexei Zhitnik. The good pass to Jason Daw. Plant goes to the net. The rebound is picked up. Here's Schmelik the shot. That's blocked in front. Went through and Snow made the save. Here's Falloon near side. Puts a high one in. Going in after it is Daw with time winding down in this Flyer power play. Plant. Forced wide by Desjardins and off the puck. Up the near side. Flyers move it ahead. Howard was hit by Daryl Shannon. We've seen him throw the body, and sort of an unsung hero for the Sabres through the first round of the playoffs. So Buffalo kills off that Philadelphia power play, and their power play has struggled, just like the Sabres has postseason. Knocked down in front. High one, Burge waiting for it to come down. He's onside. Burge sends one through, and just out of the reach of Holzing. Burge on it again. But Philadelphia able to clear.
Now the Flyers are just getting outworked right now. As simple as that by the Buffalo Sabres. All over the ice in every department.
3:44 to go, second period. The Sabres leading the Flyers 2-1.
Only by going alone in silence can one get into the heart of the wilderness. All other travel is mere dust and hotels and baggage and chatter.
There's a new era of waterproofing, and it's just in time. Thompson's Water Seal Ultra Waterproofer outpowers, outprotects, outperforms the competition hands down. Water damage? Don't risk it. Thompson's Ultra, the ultimate waterproofer.
This new deck cost me a bundle.
You'd better protect it. Thompson's Water Seal Wood Protector is on guard against water damage, mildew, rot, and fading. That's why it's #1 for wood. Thompson's is protection.
Unique election coverage.
Town halls on the issues, documentaries, and campaign specials on The National.
Election stories you won't find anywhere else.
Ken Daniels, Greg Millen, Scott Oak back here in Buffalo. 2 games for you tomorrow. Double header Sunday on CBC. Rangers and Devils. 2 Eastern in the afternoon. Chris Cuthbert, John Garrett, and Scott Oak will make that trip. And then tomorrow night, 7:30 Eastern from Denver, the Oilers and Avalanche with Bob Cole, Harry Neal, and Scott Russell. So a full day of hockey for you tomorrow here on CBC. Lots more to go tonight, too. Buffalo leading 2-1 late stages, second period. Bugner whipples the goal off the glass and out to center. He took a hard hit. Puck is loose. Went past Galley. Bugner will move it ahead. Ray. His pass was picked off at center. And then Bugner went in and just leveled Dan Cornick. He caught him off stride. May took a bump. Galley at the point. He's hit. Back of the net. Ray collided with Therien. Ray on it again, lets it go to May. May some good work to avoid a hit. Galley pitching in from his defense position. But Frank got over there to block it. His shot is stopped in front. Puck is loose and under a pile of bodies. But a nice play by Derek Frank to hold that puck in at the point as Galley pinched in. I think Don Koharski has some penalties coming out of this one. Daniel Lacroix knocked down to the ice. Hordick being given a face wash as the sticks come up. How does it always end up in front of Garth Snow? And he's on the verge of being in it again. Look. Here comes Shields at the other end. Here we go. Steve Shields made his way all the way down the ice. And here, well, has Snow learned something from his fighting, saying, take off the mask. Let's go. Saw Ron Hextall duke it out with Felix Potvin earlier this season. We showed you earlier tonight the fights that Snow had, and who says there's no fighting postseason? Point takedown on Hordick and Ray. Two of the tough guys fitting that they should go. Ray's the all-time penalty minute leader.
The goalies are having a little chat again. Here they go.
Yeah, Snow wanted Shields' mask off. Brad May comes in. He wants to go with Snow. Now the goalies square off, and they're into it.
And they're big ones.
Boy, Shields better be careful. He's fighting Snow with the mask, and now he has it off. Boy, are the goalies in the tie-down rule.
6'2" for Shields, 6'3" for Snow.
And look at Wayne Primo in there jawing away at Garth Snow. Brad Lazarowicz, Wayne Bonney have their hands full. Snow's got a smile on his face saying, see, Hexy, I can do it too. They're high-fiving over at the Flyer bench. Oh, Ron Hextall loves this.
Now, Reggie Lemlin, the goaltender coach for the Flyers, the last 2 days has told Snow time and time again, look at just play goals. Don't worry about all this stuff. Well, he didn't listen very well, did he? Ron Hextall, he's loving it. Take it on, Snow. Just the way I touch it, kid.
The crowd loved it too, I think.
Now, what if the goaltenders get thrown out here? You've got Ron Hextall coming in, but you also have Trefilov at the other end coming in. I think advantage Flyers, if that in fact happens.
Trefilov, of course, only played 5 minutes. As Hextall, he's heading down the hallway toward the Flyer dressing room.
Well, 5 minutes in the last series, and he hasn't played before December for crying out loud.
Injury,
Trefilov, so.
Hextall, of course, the first round. Snow's played every game these playoffs. You look at Andre Trefilov, giving his partner Steve Shields encouragement.
We thought this could happen. We thought it would happen a lot earlier in this hockey game, mind you, but it's happened late in the second.
Both teams were talking about initiate, don't retaliate, discipline. That's gone out the window. But as Steve Shields makes his way back down, getting applause, a standing ovation, here's how it all started.
Well, the fourth lines were out on the ice, and they're both extremely physical lines for both teams. An innocent-looking play, and then suddenly Snow gets in it, and of course, once he gets in it, Shields gets in it. And you know how tired Steve Shields must be right now with all that equipment? He's duking it out against another big man. This rest is to both goaltenders' advantage. And of course, saw this a little earlier in the period. This isn't the first time this has happened, although it was Dominik Hasek's turn to get in it with Snow February 1st.
Yeah, in the regular season, the Sabres' antagonistic tactics worked quite well against the Flyers. Their first meeting, Joel Otto got a 10-minute misconduct penalty for slashing Pekka. Second game, it was a late hit on Chris Therien, provoked Garth Snow. Third game, Flyers goalie Ron Hextall was coaxed into a roughing penalty less than a minute in, and more fights.
Well, it all starts with Lacroix in front. He's just like a one-man wrecking crane, a pretty good sucker punch. In fact, a very good one on Rob Ray. Then Hordick gets in, and then they get all tied up in front of Garth Snow. Now, Snow's pretty good at the start of all this, but then he just can't resist after a while, and that's when he gets into the altercation. There's an extra shot by Snow, and then Ray gives him a bump. Snow's thinking right now, I'm not going to get involved, but he just can't help himself. And there he gets into it, and then Shields, way down at the other end, starts his long skate to find Garth Snow.
By the way, Buffalo is leading 2-1. 2:55 to play, second period, just in case you've forgotten. Dan Kordic certainly has the size advantage over Rob Ray.
Now the goalies got together to begin with, and then they were separated, and then Snow says, take your mask off, kid, and let's go. He doesn't do it, Snow does it for him. And then away they go. Now, for quite a while during this fight, Shields spent a good part of the fight hitting Snow's mask. And then he finally got it off afterwards.
Now, Ted Nolan said his team may not be the most intelligent, but did you notice Brad May with a sore hand went to punch the mask and knew enough to keep his glove on? You see, now he was using his head.
Or his hand.
So while we sort all this out, we'll take a break. 2:55 left in the second.
The newly designed Nissan Maxima. It's attracting a lot of attention.
So waiting for the announcements here at Marine Midland Arena over what referee Don Koharski is handing out.
You know, we mentioned that Ron Hextall went down the alleyway. The word we have from Scott Oak that he was going down to get some more equipment rather, in case he needed it.
And a 10-minute misconduct. Philadelphia penalty to number 30, Garth Snow. 2 minutes for leaving the crease, 2 minutes for roughing, and 5 minutes for fighting. Philadelphia penalty to number 21, Dan Kordic, 10-minute misconduct. Buffalo penalty to number 10, Brad May. 2 minutes for roughing and a 10-minute misconduct. Buffalo penalty to number 31, Steve Shields. 2 minutes for leaving the crease and 5 minutes for fighting. Buffalo penalty to number 32, Rob Ray, a 10-minute misconduct. Repeating the penalties, Lacroix, 2 minutes for roughing and a 10-minute misconduct. Snow,
so when we work all this out, the Buffalo Sabres come away with a power play. Snow gets the extra minor.
Both goaltenders are still in the game, which is the right call. They get 2 minutes for leaving the crease, and then 5 minutes for fighting.
What it does do, it shortens the bench a little bit. Now they're sorting it out with Terry Murray, and he's saying, how do we end up on the short end of all this? Now Don Koharski in there to try to explain it to him.
And you're right, there won't be many players left on the bench the time everybody serves the penalties.
All the misconducts.
Joel Otto goes down and chirps at Steve Shields, takes a little extra trek in front of his crease, telling him, we're coming, kid, we're coming. He's still chirping at him. Well, Kordic with 2 good hits that somewhat starts this off. And he's just looking for anybody to hit. You can see he's trying to find somebody, and then he ends up getting hit.
Merrill Shannon caught him, the good hit. So the Buffalo Sabres, with 2:55 left in the second period, work on the power play. Desjardins off the boards and down. will lead the Sabre attack to Richard Schmelik. Off of Burgess, stick, he goes and get it. Into the high slot, rebound,
This is a classic example of the Flyers having enough players back, but nobody's taking anybody. Desjardins fishes for the puck. That leaves Audette wide open, streaking down the wing on his offside, so he's able to see all of the puck and put it past Garth Snow, who reacts to the initial play by Randy Burridge in the middle.
So the Buffalo Sabres, too, hit for a power play goal. Just their third of these playoffs. How big is that?
The Flyers just back off Burridge and then back off everybody else, and that's why Audette is so wide open. There's no depth in their defensive play, and as Ron Hextall thinking, boy, I'd better get ready here for the third. I may just go in.
Jonathan Audette led Buffalo with 28 goals in the regular season as his third of the playoffs. Oh, Buffalo leading now by 2 goals. Pekka, back of the net, he took a hard hit. Stopped by Renberg in front, and the quick shot by Lindros is stopped by Steve Shields.
Now get a 28-point spring checkup, plus oil, lube, and filter, tire rotation, and a free jug of washer fluid, all for just $29.95. Only at Canadian Tire.
Well, the thing that comes to mind is how tired are the goaltenders after that altercation. Shields makes a great save on Lindros. Snow with really no chance on the last goal against him on the power play, but you know, you're so tired, you're just trying to regroup after that happens. Your adrenaline is flying, and you know, you just can't seem to refocus quickly, and when you have a good scoring chance against you, I don't think you have much chance of stopping the puck because your heart is still racing, you're still recovering from the initial altercation.
Dykhouse, his shot right off the draw is stopped by Shields. Barnaby O'Clair, what an offensive explosion by Buffalo. 3 goals in 1 period. Sent back into the slot. Here's Wilson on it. Wilson backhand shot. That went wide. Tip side of the net. And cleared out and down. A race for it. Balloon going after it. Shields out of the net. He'll play it off the boards. 3 goals in 1 period by the Sabres in the second period of 7 games. In the first round, they had scored only 5 goals total. Here they have 3 and 1. Barnaby weaving his way through. A nice move. Barnaby across the line, takes the shot. Still on the puck. Gets it rink wide. Here's Bugner, the shot. That went wide. Broke his stick on the play, goes and gets another one. He's slowed up at the bench as the Sabres change their defense. Galley. With 1 minute to play here in the second period. Burge moved that puck ahead. Holzinger had it knocked off his stick. And Renberg leaving it there. Terrian shot easily handled by Steve Shields. Lindros in deep. Schmelik will move it ahead. Had it knocked away by John LeClair. Schmelik on it again. His pass was behind Burge. Here comes the Flyers. LeClair is hit. Who else? Mike Pekka. Burge up with Pekka. Goes rink wide shot. Pekka rebound. He couldn't kick it up from the skate to his stick after Schmelik had a great chance. The net came off, so a stoppage in play, but a great chance for Mike Pekka.
The Sabres want to hit and sting and then get up and run against the big boys, and that's what Pekka does on this last shift. He may not get the best of this hit, but he gets right up afterwards and then stings on the counter attack as LeClair is standing still. And here's the counter attack now in another situation where the Flyers are running all over the ice. Niederman just barely gets back to check Pekka and then knock the net off. But the counter attack, because of the speed of the Buffalo Sabres, is really working. Even a I think he saves a goal as he just lifts Pekka's stick. But again, another 3-on-2 chance because of tremendous speed. Leclerc gets hit, it shortens them up. As soon as you slow big men's progress on the ice, it takes a while for them to get going again. Pekka's smaller, he gets off the mark, joins the attack, creates a good 3-on-2 break for the Buffalo Sabres.
Mike Pekka has just one goal his past 18 games. He's looking to break out of a slump, just like Grosek. Shields will play that, but a penalty coming up to the Buffalo Sabres for interference. Gary Galley for interference as he tries to run interference and gets caught. Well, the 34-year-old heads to the box.
And as I mentioned, the plan of the Sabres is to get in between the net and the forwards. Galley just does maybe too good a job on that last play.
Gary Galley, who's been quite a leader this season with Pat LaFontaine out of the lineup. And he's been playing hurt too, Greg.
Yes, has to have a hernia operation after the season. It's hard to believe he can play with that. Battled chronic fatigue syndrome when he was in Philadelphia, which is an immune system problem. And said he lost all the bulk in his upper body. He's just gained it back in the last few years.
Right off the draw, Niedema is being pressured, held it in, but Jitnik is there. Got it to the line, not out. Coffey, high slot, Renberg shot, scores! Was it in before the buzzer went? I believe it was. As Renberg teed it up, the second period's come to a close. They're going to check this one, and we'll have to check the time as we watch it, top of your screen.
Goes off a leg, Schmelik's leg, and in.
Yes.
Just in the nick of time. And it will go upstairs, I'm sure.
Michael Renberg, it is under review. Will Norris is on the phone.
After a horrible giveaway by Jitnik, sets up this play to put the Flyers back in the game. Jim Gregory on your left, Will Norris, and Don Koharski saying, yes, it's a good goal.
He knows what we know because we saw the clock, and here it is again. Renberg teeing it up in the slot, right about now. And that went off a Sabres skate and in. There you see the time remaining. Both teams have gone to the dressing room, though.
Here's the giveaway on your backhand. There's no way you can make this play. Now that costs the Sabres the goal as the shot from the slot goes off Schmelik and past Shields after a brutal giveaway by Alexei Jitnik.
And a great play by Coffey to hold that puck in as we send it back to Ron McLean with Kelly Rudy. Thanks very much, Ken and Greg, and quite a finish to the period. That's the only way you're going to beat Steve Shields, I think, tonight. What do you think about the fisticuffs?
Well, you have to really bear with me here because this makes me mad. Here we're in the back room, and I'm telling you, I really like Snow because he just made 3 big saves after they went down 2-0. They make it a game, goes back to 2-1, a real good game, and then he does something like this. Now, this really makes me mad, and you got to really stick with me here because he has to stop the puck. That's the role of a goaltender. And if Philly wanted the toughest guy in the league, they'd get that Butterbean, that fighter, you know, that big guy.
Marty's going to fight, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You don't need him. You need Garth Snow to stop the puck. So there's that little scrum in front, and then he gives the guy the shot, and then they start moving towards him. All he has to do is move out of the crease. You're allowed as a goaltender to get out of the way and let that continue and whatever's going to happen there. So he gets involved in that, and okay, fine, and then it sort of settles down a little bit. Well, Shields comes down. He has to. He's protecting his teammates, and then Shields, after all that, Shields is standing off to the side, and Snow goes directly over to him because he knows that they're in a real bind if Shields is thrown out of the game. So he goes over and starts to think. First, he tries to rip his mask off. This makes me mad. Look how mad I am.
Evidently, Grapes. Go on.
I can't.
Made it the right thing, and I thought they did a really good job explaining that Brad was good to defend and smart not to use because he does have a sore paw. The funny thing is, no instigation. Well, he did get an extra 2, Greg Snow, so maybe he got the good misconduct, doesn't have to serve it. But that should be instigation, game misconduct in the old days. And one thing, it's even. Garth Snow and Pekka on the icing, and I know Grapes will probably want to get into that tomorrow night on Coach's Corner. Yeah. So expect more of this. Hot Stove League by Satellite is next.
Although there is some debate about it, the planet Earth is the only spot in the entire universe known to sustain life.
And a part of that planet, as small as it may be, belongs to no one but you. All of which should help explain why we've put together the Earth's finest brands of yard equipment. Yard machines, Yard Man, White, and Cub Cadet. Helping you care for it. MTD. For a growing world.
Today, doing business in Toronto means doing business just about anywhere. That's why Canadian Airlines flies 14 weekly non-stops to London Heathrow. Over 100 flights between Canada and Asia, and with our partners to more places around the world than ever before. Of course, it's not just the places you need to go. It's the way you want to fly. Canadian Airlines.
I know you know me, yeah. We go together perfectly someplace, somewhere. Oh, tonight, it's never been more right. No, to see the world in a different light. All right, see you tonight.
Can you tell me why you bank there?
Maybe I'm just too lazy to move.
How much do they charge you to use some other bank's machine?
I think it's $1 each time you use it, which you don't really want to pay.
There goes $1 down the drain.
Socks.
PC, internet.
If I could just get everything done over the phone, that would be great.
I said I'd be ready to open up the account right now then.
M-Banks. We're standing by right now. So come on, call and make the move to something better.
The new Porsche Boxster is assembled at Zuffenhausen, Germany. Much the same way our original roadsters, the Spiders, were assembled. By human hands. Makes you wonder who builds other sports cars. The Boxster. Once again, there is no substitute.
As has been the custom in these Stanley Cup playoffs, the Hot Stove League by Satellite joins the nation together and, in fact, the continent. As you see, Jim Houston's getting set to give us the fashion file on the new Canuck logo in Vancouver. Al Strachan of the Toronto Suns in Denver, and old tiny goal pads himself, John Davidson, joins us from New York to see if Glenn Sather made a mistake accusing Patrick of having big chest protector and whatever else he's got, John.
Well, guys, you know, it's interesting that I talked to Brian Burke recently about goaltending equipment, and he said that things went pretty well this year. No one had the illegal goal pads. He said he really applauded the Players Association for delaying the whole process and not starting the measurements until December sometime. However, he said that next year they're going to continue on the warpath to try and get the rest of the equipment in line. And he said the size of the sweaters themselves, the size of the chest protectors, and the size of both gloves, the blocker and the catching glove. He said they're going to try to find a way to monitor what the size should be and how big they're allowed to be, as a lot of goaltenders throughout the league right now, and I think we all know that it's true, have added a lot of equipment over the years, and it's certainly helped them stop pucks.
Yeah, Patrick Waugh is like the Michelin man out here. You know, he's got all that stuff, and Glenn Sather was talking about it. You know, if you could put 2 boards across your back, big planks or whatever, and have them sticking out, there's no rule against that right now. There is that one catch-all rule the commissioner can step in for the good of hockey, but there's no specific rule to prevent doing whatever you want to do. They're going to crack down this summer. They would have done it last year, but they didn't have enough time. Right now, Glenn Sather keeps bringing this up in the hope of rattling Patrick Waugh. Patrick Waugh says, well, that's fine if it keeps him amused, but he should worry about his own job, and I don't care what he does. Obviously, it's bothering him, and that's what I want.
Where did this all start?
Because there's been no rule, I think some people have taken advantage of that, and I don't really blame them. Francois Allaire, who coaches many of the Quebecois goaltenders and it just took over halfway through this season with Guy Hébert, it's my understanding that he told him to actually wear some more equipment to make himself a little bigger, and I don't blame him. He's doing it within the rules, but one thing that I would hope that they would do, besides reducing the size of some of the equipment, like the gloves, because there are a lot of goaltenders that are using butterfly nets to catch with, is make sure that they tell everybody plenty early so that they can start the season with the right equipment and have a chance to adjust and be ready.
You know, when JD played, he didn't need any extra pads.
You know where it started? It started with Peters.
You know, the old days, what happened was the equipment was heavy. And so you tried to get equipment that was a little bit lighter by making it a little bit smaller. Now the equipment's so light that they can bulk it up and make it so much bigger. The only other one I remember was Tony Esposito. He got caught with a net, an actual net, between his thighs. And when he'd go down and spread his legs out, this net would widen right out and stop pucks once in a while.
Now there's an idea for somebody. And John, Pete Peters used to wear the long sweater. Same thing. When he'd go down, and you know who his agent was at the time? Brian Burke. So, and the other funny story out of all of this was Jim Matheson of the Edmonton Journal said to Glenn Sather, "So you're saying Patrick Roy is an industrial league goalie with big pads?" And he says, "Well, that's not my line, but it's a pretty good line." How about that Orca crest on Vancouver? What's going on, Jim?
Well, for people who haven't seen it, it's a new stylized sea with an orca whale, a killer whale exploding out of the top of a sea. It wasn't supposed to be released. Nobody was supposed to see this until at least the middle of May when the Canucks were going to unveil it, but too many people knew about it. The colors of the new sweaters, which are a maroon color and with some blue in them, we're starting to show up in sports shops. The C had actually been used, my understanding is the new logo, in an X-Files episode. X-Files is taped here in Vancouver, and the episode is to be shown in the fall.
That'll be on Fox, guys. That's on Fox, by the way.
Yeah, so they let that out of the bag. So too many people knew about it, and then it showed up on the internet, and a local television station picked it up, and it showed up in the paper. The early reaction is kids seem to love it. Older people who I think resist change anyway don't seem to like it as much, but a lot of people suggest, what is it that it has absolutely nothing to do with Canucks, and they don't like that, and they say it's just another, some more interference by corporate America that now owns the Vancouver Canucks, and that's Orca-based sports and entertainment. Soon they'll be the Vancouver Orcas. I don't know about that, but I think, I have an old farmer friend who used to have this expression. He said, sort of like putting perfume on a pig. You know, the bottom line is if they look after the team and get the product right on the ice, the people of the West Coast love hockey. They'll accept the team that's wearing pajamas.
Yeah, but they just want to make more money, keep selling these new designs. And you see it in soccer in England. Manchester United had 8 different uniforms one year, about 3 years ago.
Soccer? Now we're talking soccer.
Yeah. Let's
the way hockey's going these days, it's 1-0 games all the time.
Let's bring in the situation. We don't have a lot of time, John, but update us on the Ice Hockey Federation in Russia with the assassination of Valentin Sic. What's news now?
Well, we all know pretty well about that, of course. Sic was gunned down, and a lot of people that are associated, well, actually, a lot of the Russian hockey players here in North America are flat out scared right now. This guy, Sic, was involved with importing vodka and tobacco, cigarettes and such, into the country. And they got a pretty good break on the taxes. The mafia stepped in and wanted their cut. And obviously, Sic said no or not enough or whatever. And he was killed. His wife was badly injured in the situation. They tell me now that Tikhonov will be involved in running the Ice Hockey Federation over there. And of course, what's important ahead is the Olympics. And a lot of the Russian players don't want to play if Tikhonov is involved. Tikhonov, that is, if he's involved. 2 coaches, a guy by the name of Yaroslav and another guy by the name of Orzanov, or one of the 2 guys may be involved with coaching the next Olympic team for Team Russia. But a lot of the players that I've talked to here in North America over the last week or 2, they're flat out scared. Some of them were thinking about going back to Russia to see their families during the off season. There's been a big change of plans now. It's a real mess over there, and it's really a tough situation for all these Russian players in this part of the world.
Well, Sic wasn't the first one, you know. There was another guy by the name of Fedorov that they attacked, and the gun misfired, so they stabbed him 8 times. It's a very serious situation over there. Alex McGillney now wants to play for the U.S. in the upcoming Olympics, and if he actually goes to court on this, it's very difficult to impose that residency rule, the citizenship, because, of course, the country that he played for before no longer exists, and even the IOC people admit that. They're going to have to try and find a way to decide who these guys can play for.
There's one other guy, too. Mark Gandler's an agent, lives there in New Jersey, represents some players. He seems to be on the side of Tikhonov, and it seems to me that there's a real division involving Tikhonov and whether these Russian players will play for the Russian club when the Olympics do come around next February.
Games are just
a serious situation.
270-odd days away, so it's getting tight for sure. John Davidson there mentioning Fox in hopes of getting a different kind of bigger pad. Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Al. The Hot Stove League by satellite on After 40 Minutes.
John's a serious farmer, and his ATV has to work as hard as he does. So he chose the Honda Foreman to take him places he seriously wants to go. When Pat doesn't trust the weather, she trusts her TRX 250. It's the natural choice for someone whose nature is to work hard. Michael chose the TRX 300 4x4 because it makes sure he's always breaking new ground. Honda ATVs unite like-minded workers in unlikely places.
He's back. Andre Philippe Gagnon returns to Toronto by popular demand. See the master of musical impersonation live on stage. It's the most entertaining evening you'll have all year. Don't miss Andre Philippe Gagnon at the Royal Alexandra Theater. For tickets, call today.
Are you hungry? Yeah. How about something different?
I hear they have pitas at Wendy's.
I'm hungry.
Yeah, me too. Let's go to Wendy's and try the pitas.
In case you haven't heard, Wendy's has fresh stuffed pitas, like our Garden Ranch chicken with chunks of chicken breast filet, chicken Caesar with shredded Parmesan, classic Greek with feta cheese, and veggies.
Where should we eat? I don't know.
They have pitas at Wendy's.
Thanks, Dave.
It's everything you love, stuffed in a big, warm, soft pita.
We're selling lots of pitas, Dave.
Word gets around.
Come on in and try one today.
Sometimes your lawn has uninvited guests. And if you don't do something about it, they'll hang around all summer and come back next year. But So Green Weed and Feed will kill the weeds and feed the grass, so there's no room for the weeds to come back.
Say, you're new here, aren't you?
So Green Weed and Feed. It's guaranteed, so your lawn can party on.
Cantel AT&T introduced new digital PCS to 72 Kendall Court.
My name is Kelly Steele. I knew this was great when I went shopping. I knew it was my client calling.
Steele Commercial Realty.
Because I have caller ID on my cell phone.
Digital PCS from Cantel AT&T.
Hang on, Mom, I got another call.
Welcome to a world without wires.
Hi, Richard. Did you get my fax?
We don't have sales. We just don't have sales. We have the best price every day.
If the customer ever finds a product cheaper at the competition, we match the price and beat it by 10%, whether it's a screw or a kitchen.
And that's our policy, and we stick with it. It's great. You can't lose.
I have customers come in and actually make it like a competition in their mind to try to go out and find a lower price, and they don't. They always come back.
Never will the competition come in and beat us in price.
Just located another test site.
Talk to me.
Road testing, Stuttgart, monitor 6. Lateral G.93. Speed, miles per hour 150. Push in 500%.
Pushing in 500%.
Speed 160 and climbing. Enhance that. Speed 170, still climbing.
Anybody have any idea what this is?
I do.
Well?
It's the next vet.
Get me one.
Good evening. I'm Noreen Virgin with a look at some stories we'll have for you on the Saturday evening news. The dikes are holding, but the people of Winnipeg are still shoring up the city's defenses against the Red River. Experts say it will be some time before the floodwaters recede. The federal election campaign takes to the TV screens this weekend. 4 of the 5 major parties have released their television advertising to the networks. The ads will start running tomorrow. The Canadian Labour Congress has started a campaign of its own. It organized rallies across the country today, protesting against cuts to social programs and jobs. And the Matthew set sail from the port of Bristol today for the 2nd time. It's a replica of the ship John Cabot sailed to Newfoundland 5 centuries ago. Details on those stories later. For now, back to Hockey Night in Canada.
Did Kelly Rudy mention he wasn't happy with snow? Yes, I believe so. So just enough time to say the 3rd period is next in Buffalo on Molson Hockey Night in Canada on CBC.
This is my time. This is my place. My McDonald's.
This is my McDonald's.
My McDonald's. My McDonald's. Ours.
Mine, yours, that guy.
You know my fries.
This is my Arch Deluxe.
This is my Egg McMuffin. This is my Big Mac.
Wherever I roam, it's my second home. My McDonald's.
Last year, over 7 million Canadians switched to a new phone company. A phone company that believes that jobs and research are not a cost, but an investment. An investment in their business, in their customers, and in their community. And if it sounds like this might be your kind of phone company, then we'd just like to say welcome. Welcome to the new Bell.
Mazda 626LX. With more interior room than the competition, it truly is a sedan for the whole family. Loaded with luxury features and Mazda's exclusive leadership warranty. For quality, reliability, and sheer performance, choose Mazda 626LX. With so much interior room, we call it the family man's family sedan.
Mazda, passion for the road. Welcome to Speedy Brakes are what we do, with quality parts and a highly trained crew. We specialize in brakes, so you know, for any make or model, Speedy's the brake pro.
Think your brakes sound broke? Then hurry to Speedy right now and you'll save $40 off our top quality brake parts and labor.
Our estimate is free and it's the final price you'll see. We'll only fix what's needed and it's all guaranteed. Speedy knows what you need, service and value guaranteed.
Ken Daniels, Greg Millen, Scott Oak back here in Buffalo. All the scoring took place in the second period. Buffalo went up 2-0 on goals by Grosek and May. Dan Kordick Hansen for Philadelphia to bring the Flyers within one. Then Buffalo went ahead with a scoring binge as the Sabres went up. Power play goal, 3-1, answered by a power play goal by Michael Renberg with basically 3/10 of a second to go in the second period. And that, Greg, as the third period is just underway, can be a killer for Buffalo.
Absolutely. Let's see if the momentum now switches in the Flyers' favor. So often we see it in hockey. Late goals really hurt teams. Will it hurt the Sabres tonight?
Just had an icing call right off the face-off. So it's now to the right of Steve Shields. Peter Sabota, by the way, has a right knee bruise and a left ankle sprain. That on that icing call along with Mike Pekka, so Sabota is out for the game. Luckily for Philadelphia, Paul Coffey's okay. Left wing side steal into the slot for Barnaby. Dropped one back, point! And that's stopped by Snow off that shot from Michael Grosek. Knocked down at center ice. Flyers continue on. Podine. One shot in. All, and Shields had the flex to get that right pad down. Then another shot. Shields stopped that one. Podine got it through. Dolato muscling his man off the puck. That's cleared up. And that hit Podine up in the face area. Off the Buffalo clear. Terrien knocked it down and gave it away. Here comes Plant. His shot didn't miss by much on the glove side of Garcheneau. Flipped high into the Sabres zone. Going in after it is John LeClaire. He's hit hard by Bob Buchner. They'll give a quick feed to Galley. His pass with Barnaby failed to click. Barnaby heads to the bench, and John LeClaire to Eric Lindros. Pass was behind him. Backhander in, easily handled by Shields. Quick lead pass for Donald Odette. But then a long shot in, wide of the net. Rebound right in front of the goal. And Randy Burridge just missed as that was stopped. Lindros on the far boards. Holding off his check. Holzinger then gives him an elbow to the head. Trying to break free is Holzinger. Trying to go back in on the forecheck. But Lindros stood in his way. That's why the 18,500 officials here wanted a penalty. Donald Odette gives chase into the Philadelphia zone. No icing as Chris Terrien moves it ahead for Rod Brindamore. Up with Howard Chuck. Gives him the pass. Sent one through, and Shields stopped that as Pat Falloon one-timed Howard Chuck's pass, but Shields made the save. We played just over 2.5 minutes here in the third period. 3-2, the Sabres leading the Philadelphia Flyers. Errol Shannon to Jason Dawe. Moving that puck ahead, here's Mike Pekka, right wing side. Off the skate. As Darryl Shannon had joined the rush, the Flyers turn it back up ice. Howard shot. Takes the shot, and Shannon got it his way again, but it's offside at the Buffalo blue line.
Well, a very open start to this third period. And again, the Buffalo Sabres are really having a good time in terms of getting out of their zone by one quick pass. And it freezes the Flyers, and then they're getting their speed going in the neutral zone because of the good first pass. And this creates a good chance to score for Randy Burridge, who just races to the puck and outworks Nienema. Now at the other end, the Flyers with a good chance because Randy Burridge lets Pat Balloon go. And once again, a terrific read by Shields as he lays the paddle of the stick down to cover the lower part of the net. So Randy Burge gets a good chance at one end and then lets Balloon go at the other end. It almost cost him.
Face off directly in front of the Buffalo Sabre bench. On the draw, one by Otto. Paul Coffey did such a great job on that goal late in the second period, mixing it up with Matthew Barnaby. Daniel Lacroix stands up in the penalty box, jawing at the two. Coffey and Barnaby split up as Buffalo sends it down for icing. A lot of talking going on down there. 16:46 left, third period.
Introducing the all-new, more powerful, better handling Honda Prelude. Choose your accessories with caution.
Welcome back to Marine Midland Arena. 16:46 left, third period. Face-off coming up to the left of Steve Shields. Flyers have outshot the Sabres 36-20. Matthew Barnaby still talking. That's how he left you, who was talking, and now he is back on the bench.
You know, the Sabres have their game going. They're getting under the Flyers' skin. The Flyers are responding to Barnaby, and that's exactly what he wants.
Right off the draw, controlled by Philadelphia, sent through. Shields down. He'll make the save as that puck was deflected in front. Well, that lasted 1 second. A Matthew Barnaby break when his lips weren't flapping, and doing it again.
Otto's amused by the whole thing, it seems. You know, the Flyers' big line must get going here if they want to win this game. Lindros, Leclerc, and Renberg haven't done too much.
Renberg sent one through. That goes high into the corner. Eric Lindros trying to spin off the check. Back of the goal. Battling for it. Lindros in front. Renberg too well tied up by Schmelik. Flyers controlling deep in Sabre territory. Zhitnik tying it up with Lindros. Trying to seal into the sideboards. Coming free with that puck was Leclerc, and then stripped of it. Dixon Ward comes down ice for Buffalo. Up with Peck and Daw. Ward to the net. Oh, and almost put one on the glove side of Snow. Sent one back to the point. Shannon spinning, shooting. That went high. And on the far side, Mike Wilson couldn't get over to hold it in. Leaving it for Shannon. Player up on the forecheck. Shannon fan on his outlet try, and then Mike Wilson, though, able to knock that puck free.
I watched the Legion of Doom line, and it almost looks like their timing just isn't on. Big men have layoffs. At times, it affects them the most. It takes a while for their big frame to get back in the game, it seems, after long layoffs.
They didn't like the fact that they had to wait a whole week to play. They wanted to get back at it after beating Pittsburgh.
Bobby Clark thought they were going Friday. The Flyers were told they were going Friday, and he's not happy with the league about it.
Here's Audette in the hole, taking the rebound! And Snow stopped that. Good feet ahead, and the Sabres almost capitalized. Sent to the Buffalo line. Here's Brindamore, the shot, and Shields down to make the blocker save on that. Courage far side. Howard Chuck got over to keep it onside. Brindamore, back for Howard Chuck, backhand shot. Shields makes the save, and he'll hang on to that as we check in with Scotto.
All right, Ken, in the Ted Darling press box here at the Marine Midland Arena, here is Flyers goaltending coach Reggie Lemelin. Reggie, you spent 2 days telling your goaltender Garth Snow to stay out of trouble, don't get involved in any shenanigans, and then all that foolishness in the second period. What happened?
Well, I think you got two young goaltenders here, and they're full of energy and not necessarily wisdom, I guess.
Do you think Garth Snow's back on his game? He's made some big saves here in the third.
Yeah, there's no question. I think Garth earned the right to play in the playoffs. He's had a tremendous season for us, improved all the time, and you can see him tonight. He's alert.
All right, what about Garth Snow's pads? They look awfully big.
No, you know that they've been measured all year, and everybody's getting measured all the time. So
yeah,
right.
I was sure I'd get.
Look awfully big, though.
I knew I'd get you on that one, Reggie. Thanks for your time.
Okay.
Good try there, Scott.
Obviously, Reggie agrees with Kelly Rudy and what he had to say.
Here's Michael Groshek. Annie Nienema. Good closure on Groshek, and Nienema goes after that puck. He'll backhand one up the board. Barnaby got it through, and then Groshek's shot was steered aside by Snow. Plant trying to get free from his check. Call down, no call. Much to the fans' chagrin here. Barnaby moves it back for Bugner. And Barnaby takes the feed, right wing side, plenty of room and a flyer change. Barnaby to the net, and the save made by Snow. Dykehouse got it to the line, but not out. Goes into the corner. Pekka. He's bumped. Has no one with him as the Sabres are changing, and Philadelphia clears. Alexei Zhitnik, an effortless skater. Moved it ahead up the boards. Pekka sends one deep into Philadelphia territory. Oh, and Pekka took a hard shot there. As the sticks came up, and there are penalties coming up, as Pekka exchanged it with Michael Renberg.
Well, Pekka Lindros still getting the normal amount of ice time for both these players and playing a lot against each other still in this hockey game. Although as this game progresses, look for Ted Nolan to start rolling his four lines over and maybe getting away from this match a little bit. And Renberg will be in the penalty box for slashing Pekka. And once again, Pekka initiates. He doesn't retaliate. And that is exactly what the Sabres, again, that's what they want to do. And that's what they've been doing all game long. Hit and run, hit and run.
Actually, they didn't even call that a penalty. Centered in front. Chose to overlook it. But they did not seem to call it. Here's Lindros, right wing side, shooting, and that's off the high glass and wide. So the teams are 5 aside. Although the slash was there, Don Koharski did not call it. And Buffalo moves it out to center. Flipped in deep by Carl Dykehouse. Leclaire. That went off the skate. Burridge. Head for Donald Odette. He'll just put one into the Flyers' zone. 13 minutes to go, third period. 3-2, Buffalo leading Philadelphia. The long pass, this play is onside. The shot, and Shields makes the save. Getting in there quickly was Falloon. On with Brindamore at the line, it came out. And the Sabres will bring it into the Philadelphia zone. Mike Wilson, his shot deflected high and up into the seats. 12:40 left, third period. Buffalo 3, Philadelphia 2.
The Dodge Ram ST, 5.2-liter V8, 4-speed automatic with air, chrome wheels, a lot of room on the inside, and a grille that gives you a whole lot of room on the outside.
Defiant dandelions in your lawn? The solution is dead simple. Killex. It eliminates all types of broadleaf weeds without harming your grass. Get the choice of professionals. Killex from Green Cross.
Well, I mentioned to you in the first period what the Sabres wanted to do. Have they done it tonight? Well, yes, they moved the puck extremely quick, and they've been using their speed. They've been taking away space, particularly Eric Lindros' line. And their power play, well, They got to produce on that still. And they have.
Have a power play goal tonight, as do the Philadelphia Flyers. Grosek up front along with Plant and Barnaby for Buffalo. Balloon, Brindamore, Howard, Chuck. For the Flyers sent down the ice, and this will be icing against Philadelphia.
And what have Flyers not done to be successful so far in this game? Well, they've used their size. No, they haven't. I haven't seen them come out of the corners in the safer zone. They haven't been very disciplined, that's for sure. But they have had some production from their fourth line tonight to take a little bit of the pressure off Eric Lindros.
Have the Flyer forwards been able to slow down the Buffalo forecheckers tonight? Have the Flyers forwards been able to slow them down?
Well, it goes right back to the Sabre zone. Their first pass has been excellent. That's created all the speed for them.
Right off the draw, Wilson shot. Puck is loose and skids past the crease as Grosek just failed to get his stick on it, just out of his reach. Grosek on it again, centered in front. And Philadelphia will clear. Lead pass for Brindamore, 2-on-1 developing. Brindamore went wide. Couldn't get it in front as Mike Wilson forced him wide. Good defensive play, and then Wilson dropped Brindamore to the ice as the Sabres clear it for icing.
You know, the advantage of having a long reach, and Wilson is a tall player, and that's how he plays defense. He may not have the greatest physical abilities, but at 6'6", he has a tremendously long reach. A 2-on-1 break. Now, normally, the defenseman lets the shooter have, the goaltender have the shooter, but right here he sees Wilson, that Brindamore fumbles the puck a little bit, and that's when he uses his long reach to his advantage. Matthew Barnaby was a defenseman on this last play. He jumped in the offensive zone, and that's what created the 2-on-1 break for the Philadelphia Flyers.
Mike Wilson, 20th overall, picked by Vancouver in '93, came over in the Alexander McGillney deal. Shaping up as a fine one now for the Buffalo Sabres. Of course, getting Jay McKee as a draft pick and picking up Mike Pekka. Off the draw, back to the point. Therrien sent one through, puck loose in the slot, and it's cleared away by Buffalo. Lindros got it into the corner. Leclerc trying to spin out front, along with Renberg. Dixon Ward is there, and he flips one high. Knocked down. And Therrien cleared that puck ahead. Schmelik. He's run hard into the boards by Lindros. Daw got that from his skate to his stick, and away he comes. Long shot in. Huge rebound out to the line, held in. Here's Pekka, fed it off. Puck loose in front, and Philadelphia clears. Schmelik. Back to his defense partner, Alexei Zhitnik, who has 1 goal, 1 assist so far in these playoffs. Now moved ahead. That shot by Pekka deflected wide. Pekka in back of the net. Spun around to feed one in front. But the Flyers will carry out. Sean Podine left wing side. Podine wide on Shannon. Couldn't get a good angle toward the goal. Linus Huberson to help out. Galley pinches him out of the play. Back of the net. Podine wheeled one in front. Daw is there, a stutter step, got it to Holzinger, and out comes Buffalo. Holzinger has speed, gathers it up. Into Galley, pass went into his skates. Now behind the goal for Holzinger. Dykhouse drives him into the boards. Burridge, he's taken out and down by Otto. Puck is loose, Burridge has his hand on it. It's underneath him. Now got it free to Grosek. To Galley. His pass in front went off the lane. Still mixing it up back of the net. Audette for the Mike. Nice move around Platt. Goes to get into the corner. Audette the backhand pass. Failed to come out front. Holzinger side of that. Loose and Snow able to grab it and hang on. Some great puck pressure there by Buffalo.
Well, Ted Nolan told us before the game he wants his small forwards to twist and turn against the bigger Flyers, and that's what the Sabres did on this last shift. They may be smaller, but if you use your feet, twist and turn off checks, you can loosen up yourself and get away from the size. And that's exactly what the Sabres do on this last shift, as Joel Otto has to tackle Randy Burridge behind the net. But little pivots, little twists, little turns to get yourself loose. And he even said, you know, when a player has your stick on you, in other words, a Flyer, let him leave it there, and as soon as he lets up, then go off the check. That's another way to eliminate this big size off the Flyers. And Randy Burge did that. He just waited on Otto, and then when he felt Otto loosen up a little bit, he jumped off the check.
A little tough sometimes in that scissor hold when the legs are around you. My brothers did that to me a lot. Here's Brindamore and scores! It's a tie game. 3-3 with 10 minutes left, third period.
Good speed off the rush again from a good pass. Now Rob Ray has Brindamore. He can't catch him. He lets him go. And then Brindamore with a nifty little move to finish it off. But a lovely saucer backhand pass, stick to stick. Rob Ray, he falls on the play, and then Brindamore moves across the crease, gets Shields moving, and then tucks it between his legs, and that's what you do to a big goaltender. Sooner or later, they have to open up, and Shields did on that goal.
Well, Ron Brindamore had a great first round versus Pittsburgh with 3 goals and gets one here. His 4th of the playoffs to tie up this game. Now Groshek in the slot, took one on his backhand. Barnaby.
And that looked like the Howard Chuck of old with that beautiful saucer backhand pass. What a dandy stick to stick for Rob Brindamore.
At center. That pass by Howard Chuck failed to work. Groshek on it. Brindamore from Howard Chuck in Falloon at the 10-minute mark of the third period. The scoring play. Sent in deep by Nienema and sent back out by Buffalo. Coffey to Nienema. It's a new game now. His pass to Renberg didn't work. No! Run in neatly by Ward into the slot. And he couldn't get a shot away as the Flyers cleared. Shannon. Moving it ahead for Jason Daw, who is feeding Mike Pekka. Pekka with the move through the legs of Terry. Pekka left it back of the net. Here's Daw on it. Comes out at the goal post. Jason Daw, Garth Snow fooled and rattled one off the post right up by the crossbar.
Another example, quick feet by Daw. He twists and turns. He gets free. Almost beats Snow.
But we're still tied 3-3. Dykhouse moving it to Lindros, but an offside pass over 2 lines. 8:20 to go, third period. Buffalo 3, Philadelphia 3.
Jobs. That's the most important issue on people's minds today. And I think the most effective way to create new jobs is through small business.
Great job. I don't know. At CIBC,
I know you'll get it.
we've committed $100 million to a small business job creation fund to create new jobs that provide security and stability by providing small businesses with 1-year loans at 1% below prime.
Canada working. It's nice to know there's a bank that shares that same vision.
Canadian Imperial Bank of Commerce, seeing beyond.
I can hear the wind in the trees.
For the most interior room in its class.
I can hear it calling me.
For so much car for so little. It's a #1 value from Mazda. Mazda Protege. Everything's big except the price.
Come on, let's go for a ride.
Test drive a 1997 Mazda Protege today. Protege by Mazda.
I've got a passion for the road.
Well, Dale Howard Chuck, we talked about it in our opening, his big chance again to be on the second line. And he used to be a Buffalo Sabre, of course. Here, I asked him about it this morning. He said, it doesn't mean much to me now. The building is gone. It's a different team. And altogether a different look. And my career has moved on. But boy, he played well as a Buffalo Sabre, didn't he?
And for Buffalo, faced the Flyers 2 years ago when the Flyers won in 5 in the first round. But most of that series, though, with the chronic bad hip, contemplated retirement, but still going strong and getting stronger now. Primo got one back for Galley. His 4th line of the Sabres has not seen a lot of ice time tonight, along with Ray and May. May back of the goal, Primo's side of the net. Here's Ray on it, Beckett! Rob Ray! But they're waving it off. They're waving it off. Watch Rob Ray when he finds this out. In the crease. You can read the lips.
Primo bumped Snow, and did he get out in time afterwards? That is the question. And Koharski was right there. He's going to go upstairs to be safe. But he's saying without any question that Primo was in the crease.
So the site of the 97 playoffs, we've seen a lot of this. Here's from the overhead view.
There's the initial bump. Now he was pushed in. And then Primo never got out. Now don't forget, you can't go upstairs to determine if he was pushed in or not. Only if he was in the crease. And the face-off will go outside because he was in the crease. But he didn't try to get out either afterwards, or didn't get out in time. And the face-off is outside. No goal.
Wayne Primo saying, I was pushed in. What do they want? The brother of Keith Primo. And now, before they can even get things dropped, they're not ready to drop the gloves yet, but that's Coffey jawing with Barnaby.
Barnaby again.
Should mention that the Flyers have lost Peter Swoboda. He's day-to-day with a right knee bruise. We told you about that. Sean Podine took 20 stitches over his right eye. He's back in the game, though, for Philadelphia. Paul Coffey hobbled off earlier, but he's been okay.
And the trash talk continues. But Barnaby's doing his job once again. This time he has Paul Coffey going.
Told you about Sean Podine. There's seeing is believing. That's playoffs.
Playoff warrior, isn't it? Now Koharski's going right after Barnaby and giving him a warning off the drop. Barnaby's telling Coffey, look out, I'm coming, I'm coming.
Dykhouse off the glass and knocked it out to center. Nice play by Daryl Shannon. Pick it back to Mike Wilson, who has it again. Head for Barnaby. Tape-to-tape pass for Grosjean. His shot off the high glass. Barnaby going in after it. Brindamore belts him. Barnaby goes down on the ice. At the line, held in by Wilson. Coffey's bumped by Grosjean to the line. Daryl Shannon makes the move, got it through, centered in front, and kicked away. There behind the play, Barnaby. Shoved with Coffey. He came out of the zone, and he's willing to bump anyone in his way. Along with Brindamore, and part for retaliation for the hit. Let's see what happened here behind the play.
Well, Barnaby, you have to like him in one respect. He takes it as well as gives it out. He took 2 or 3 slashes in this last shift, a couple of cross checks, but he makes things happen every time he's on the ice. That was a pretty good slash. Koharski had his back to that one. So that is a high-energy, typical Matthew Barnaby shift.
He enjoys the game, though. He's always smiling. Here's the trash talking that's been going on. Barnaby with Joel Otto.
Just never stops with it.
That point shot deflected wide. Dixon Ward stole the puck into the slot. Puck is shooting, and that's blocked. Another shot. Blocked down in front, and Desjardins will move that puck ahead. Lindros, Brindamore, Lindros. Puck centered in front. And Shields settled it down to the line. Nienema held it in momentarily, but it came out to center. Here's Desjardins. Now Renberg comes out, goes in after the puck. Zhitnik moved it to the line ahead for Pekka. He just gulped one ahead for Ward. Nienema on it, got it in. Here's Leclaire to Lindros, shooting. And nice save by Shields. Puck is loose in front. Gulfstat went wide of the net. In front again. Puck loose. And Leclaire is dumped before he could get a clear shot, and Pekka's away for Buffalo. And this Sabre forward unit wants to change. They just clip it in deep. Coffey. His pass for Otto went over his stick. Galley gave it up. Here's Coffey. Going to his backhand. Galley pushed him to the far board. Back of the goal. Otto's dumped to the ice. Puck came to him side of the net. Galley swept it away. Burridge moved it out to center.
And the Flyers' pace has suddenly picked up considerably midway through this third, and now with just over 5 minutes left.
At center, picked up by Terrien. His shot stopped by Shields, and he'll hang on for a face-off with 5:49 to go in the third.
In 1922, we opened our first Canadian Tire store, and you were there. In 27, we expanded our inventory and saw you more often. By 1940, our catalog reached over 2 million of you. In 61, you found it helpful when we introduced Canadian Tire Money. And now, as we celebrate our 75th year, it occurs to us, without you, we'd be history. 75 years of Canadian Tire, thanks to you.
And now that the Flyers have picked up their pace, they're skating much better. The Sabres are having trouble suddenly getting out of their own zone.
Right off the draw, controlled by Philadelphia's side of the net. And Brindamore had a chance.
Yeah, there's much more pressure now on the Sabre defense because of the Flyers skating now. They're starting to go.
Here's Howard Chuck around Shannon. Send one across. Oh, Shields with a save. The rebound went wide. But Steve Shields, what a stop on that first chance by Philadelphia. Long shot in on Snow, and he'll gather in the rebound and hang on.
And when you start to pick up your pace, you start to do all the little things right, like going to the net hard on Shields. Suddenly now the Flyers are crashing Steve Shields and getting the traffic that they want in front of him. Dale Howardchuk, because of his speed, beats Shannon. Falloon heads to the net, and so does Brindamore. And that's the kind of hockey we're accustomed to seeing from the Philadelphia Flyers. And don't forget, the Sabres play one-on-one hockey down low, so if you skate and beat a man one-on-one, you get open. Howardchuk beats the Sabre one-on-one, Shannon, and then everybody else crashes the net. And Murray must be pleased with the way his team has played the last 5 or 6 minutes.
No scoring in the first period. Buffalo grabbed a 2-0 lead in the second. Philadelphia narrowed it to 2-1. Buffalo made it 3-1. And with 3/10 of a second left, a power play goal by Michael Renberg. 3-2 after 2, and there you see 3-all now. Brindamore, the tying goal at the 10-minute mark of this third period. Chris Terrien behind the net. Move it ahead off Leclerc's skate. Taken by Zhitnik. He'll send one back in. Desjardins. With a rink-wide pass, Renberg got it into the Buffalo zone, out by Schmelik. Bob Ray to wing Primo. He's bumped on the far side. Lindros got him. Coffey to Nienema. And out ahead for Leclerc off his stick. Sent back in by Ray. Primo on the move. On Nienema, and he runs into the indoors. And Primo's pretty slow to get up. He looks to be hurt after hitting Nienema as he heads to the bench. Jason Daw. Good one through for Dixon Ward. Penalty coming up to Philadelphia. As Dixon Ward was hauled down going to the net. The Sabres will head to the power play with 4:16 remaining in a 3-all game.
For a limited time, your GMC dealers will unleash the power of the Kodiak. We took a half-ton pickup, gave it the powerful Vortec engine, ABS brakes, and a 5,000-pound towing capacity. Then called it the limited edition GMC Kodiak Sierra. Track one down at your GMC dealer before it's too late.
Okay, you little pollen factories. This season reaction's cutting my allergy symptoms down to size. Now it's my turn to get up your nose. Excuse me. Oh, ouch, that's gotta hurt. Nervous? Huh? Huh? Hey, your roots are showing. Recognize anyone? Oh, did that hurt? How's that feel? Getting a little toasty, huh?
Reactive. Now available without a prescription in 5 and 10 milligram strengths.
How about a bad haircut?
Great chance for the Buffalo Sabres, working on the power play with 4:16 left.
Well, Don Koharski is the kind of official who will let lots go in the neutral zone, but a chance to score that doesn't happen because of an infraction, he'll call it. And there's no question that was a penalty, and Neiman is in the penalty box. Not only was it a good chance to score that was eliminated, it was also a big-time high stick. Good call by Don Koharski. Still awake at this hour, no less.
Maybe approaching 11 o'clock in the east, but even the little ones love this one, and why not? It's been a good one here tonight in Buffalo. Game number 1 of this Eastern Conference semi.
And mission accomplished for the Sabres as they get Joel Otto out of the face-off, Doc.
So, Sean Podine moves in against Burge, who wins it cleanly. Back to Schmelik. Shot block. Here's the shot. And Snow stopped that one. And again, some pushing. Just as the whistle as Snow stopped that shot from Donald Odette.
And I know you're killing a penalty, but you'd be better off to have 2 center icemen out there in this situation. Joel Otto gets thrown out. Now, Randy Burge is a center iceman as well. Now, Podine isn't a center iceman, so he loses the draw. And that forces Garth Snow to really peek through traffic to make the save. Now, the rule of thumb for a goaltender is use the bodies as another goaltender. Snow uses the bodies in front, peeks to where the shot might go. If it doesn't hit a body, and that was the short side, went right into his chest.
Around the boards, it comes off the draw and out by Philadelphia. Joel Otto up on the forecheck, Schmelik. Moved it ahead. And Holzinger couldn't get anywhere as Chris Terrien stepped up, so they'll try again. Schmelik. Off the boards and in. Snow stopped it back of the net for Terrien. Moving it is Schmelik in front of the goal. Bernadette just failed to backhand that one home. Brindamore will clear. 3:30 to go. Third period. Sabres working with a power play in a 3-all game. Holzinger accelerating. Gets one in. Snow out of the net to play it. Got it into the corner. Back to the line. Not out. Schmelik held the puck in. Got it back. Holzinger. Side of the goal of net. Zhitnik had moved in. Now moves back. Point Schmelik. This side Zhitnik. To Schmelik. Far side to Holzinger. To Audette. Burge in front. Holzinger on it, had it tipped past him into the corner. Whitehouse couldn't wrap it around the boards. Here's Zhitnik, all kinds of room, faked the shot. Schmelik, he shoots, and that's just deflected wide. Zhitnik on it again. Back of the net. Burge knocked down to the ice, Whitehouse with it. And he'll clear.
You know, Ken, Randy Burge is going to go back to the bench mad because he took all kinds of abuse in front of the net, and nobody shot the puck from the point for him. That makes forwards extremely angry, and I don't blame them.
Here's Ward on it. Center one through out of Dawes' reach. Back to the point to Pekka. Penalty over. Pekka shooting, and that missed on the stick side. Galli went to center. That puck knocked down by Desjardins, and he'll clear. So a big penalty kill for the Philadelphia Flyers. Pekka waiting for some help. Got one through. Terrien kicked at it, and the Flyers take over. And a stoppage in play with 1:55 to go, third period.
And Randy Burge was parked right in front. You can see how fatigued he is. And right now, he's telling his forwards, why didn't you shoot the puck? He takes all kinds of abuse from Paul Coffey. He's in perfect position at times in front of Garth Snow. The puck is back to the point. The Sabres have good puck possession. Nobody shoots it. Now that's frustrating if you're a forward. If you work so hard to get in front, pay the price, and then your defense partners don't shoot the puck for you.
Now get a 28-point spring checkup, plus oil, lube, and filter, tire rotation, and a free jug of washer fluid, all for just $29.95. Only at Canadian Tire.
Eric Lindros at center. Michael Renberg to his right. John LeClair to his left. Plant, Groshek, Barnaby up front for the Buffalo Sabres. Daryl Shannon got a strong playoffs for Buffalo. Off the boards to center. Moved back in by Nienema, and Shannon got a piece of Leclerc on the way by. Gary Gallant gets the pass back. Daryl Shannon will lead this Sabre rush. Up for Barnaby into Groshek, but just stepped across the line offside. As Groshek and Nienema get their sticks up, not two that you'd think would want to go with one another, but Barnaby comes in to make sure that something happens. Leclerc in there.
Look out now for Lindros. He skates away.
Of course, the Sabre defense can move right in, knowing the faceoff's going to come outside the blue line anyway on the offside play.
Smart play by Eric Lindros. He's much better on the ice than off. With 1 minute and 28 seconds left in regulation time.
He's taking advice from Mario Lemieux. Yes, stay out of the box. Don't forget, you can voice your views on the Stanley Cup playoffs by being a part of Crowd Noise here on CBC. 1-900-870-0022. 95 cents per call. You have to be 18 years or older or with parental permission. And no one's left this rink tonight. They asked all Sabre fans to wear white this evening, but some have, many haven't. Trying to copy the again in Winnipeg, carried on to Phoenix. Garth Snow being attended to.
Yes, strap of his goal pad was dragging, so at times the linesman will catch it for you and they do you a favor once in a while. I think that's what happened there.
So just 1 minute, 28 to go, third period, a 3-3 tie. Buffalo had a 2-0 lead in this one in the second. Randy Burge off the boards. Flyers take over. Desjardins will wrap one in. Sean Podine on the puck. Hitting it in the corner. Otto's in there. Battling for it. Flyers waiting for someone to get open. Sean Podine along with Trent Platt, side of the goal. Platt's all tied up by Zhitnik. Podine in to help him out. Podine with the drop around. Scores! Sean Podine with 47 seconds left has put Philadelphia in front 4-3. What a comeback.
Well, this is what I've been waiting for all game long. The Philadelphia Flyers' size working to their advantage down low. They just ran a little pick. Don't forget, it's one-on-one defense. And if one man gets clear, you're in business. Podine gets clear off a little pick. Right there, Shields looks over his wrong shoulder. As soon as he does that, he loses Podine and the puck, and Podine walks away from behind the net, and walks from behind the net and tucks it right past Shields. Let's see if we can pick this up. We can't. Right now, Shields peeks over his right shoulder instead of his left, and then the time he gets back to Podine, it's too late, and it goes right between his legs. There's the peek. Now Podine shakes Holzinger, and Holzinger's jammed from the net. Now there's the peak there, the wrong way, and that's when Podine walks out and tucks it in for a huge Flyer goal to make it 4-3 with just 47 seconds left in the third period.
And Sean Podine stays out there. The Legion of Doom at 19 of 53 points versus Pittsburgh. They have just one scoring point tonight. That shot by Ward went wide as Steve Shields goes to the Buffalo bench. They have an extra attacker. Sabres pressing. Back to the point. Shannon held it in and then whacked that by Otto. Shannon back there to Galley. Here, puck is loose. Audette trying to get through. Back to the line. Shannon held it in, knocked down in front. And the Flyers able to clear. Time winding down. Puck is loose. Lindros took a stab at it. He went down. Peck on it. Gave it away at the line. That's held in and scores. Play was onside as Rod Brindamore gets the goal. His second of the night, 5-3. Philadelphia will win this one.
And on a night where Eric Lindros really wasn't as effective at his line as maybe the Flyers would have hoped, their second, third, and fourth lines came up big, and that's what it's going to take if the Flyers want to win the Stanley Cup. They'll need everybody, and tonight, everybody was going, particularly in the third period. They stepped their game up a notch, and Buffalo couldn't match up. A turnover, and Rod Brindamore seals it for the Philadelphia Flyers.
Rod Brindamore, his fifth goal of the Stanley Cup playoffs. He is 2 tonight. .6 seconds left, so the face-off just a formality. Shields still on the bench. An unassisted goal by Brindamore. At 19:54 is the official time, so we talked about the Legion of Doom, but only Michael Renberg from that line with a goal tonight has a point.
But you mentioned it, Ken. It was a goal at the end of the second period. A late goal with just under a second. And that really seemed to change the momentum of this hockey game into the Flyers' favor, going into the room with confidence. And then from there on in, they picked up their speed and tempo, and it was a different hockey game in the third.
Yeah, bad giveaway by Schmelik. The end of that second period, Coffey kept that puck in. Renberg scored, and the Flyers come back in the third and win it by a count of 5-3.
And everything was going in Buffalo's way. Everything was going their way into the third period, and suddenly the Flyers picked up their speed. They matched the Sabres in their speed, and when they do that, obviously their size will take over, and that's what happened. The Flyers' size took over, and Ray can't believe it.
I'm sure he can't, considering his team had a 2-0 lead in the second. You never count the Flyers out. They win it 5-3. Game 2 here in Buffalo on Monday night.
See you tomorrow.
Like a rock, I was strong as I could be. Like a rock, nothing ever got to me.
With a powerful Vortec engine in a Chevy truck, you can go 160,000 kilometers before the first scheduled tune-up. Great news, especially when you live 160,000 kilometers from nowhere.
My mom goes to work every morning. Her friends come to visit. Grown-ups and kids too. She listens to their stories. Sometimes they're hard to understand. They smile when she's finished, and before they leave, she marks in an appointment book when they can come back. She wears a white coat and a mask. Everyone likes my mom. I want to be a dentist when I grow up.
Don't give foot odor a chance. Dr. Scholl's odor destroyers kill odor-causing bacteria. Take comfort.
Heavenly comfort for your earthly souls. Dr. Scholl's Air Pillow Insoles. You can never be too comfortable.
Hi, I've lost my credit card.
No matter where you are in the world,
If
your MasterCard is lost or stolen,
Bandito, I need to cancelito.
you can call for help toll-free.
Pseudo. The card.
MasterCard Global Service.
It's gone. It's gone. Bye-bye.
We'll put you in touch with someone who speaks your language,
But the card has gone bye-bye.
so you can skip the act
So I need to get a new one.
and leave the performing to us.
Thanks. I'm going to go. So thanks for everything.
MasterCard Global Service.
Here it comes.
Relentless power, amazing agility, and a sleek, muscular shape. Introducing the all-new Tiburon. It's name means shark.
Where do you see the red one?
Look out. It's a whole new Hyundai.
Molson Hockey Night in Canada on CBC, brought to you by Molson Exports. The Extreme Ticket Contest, another Molson Exports experience.
Philadelphia Flyers sure know how to wreck a party in Buffalo, and it's a former Sabre who turns the trick. There are the Molson 3 stars. Dale Howardchuk, #1 tonight. His line mate Rod Brindamore, #2, and Mike Pekka, the best of Buffalo this evening in Philadelphia's victory. And all night long, Howardchuk dishing these beautiful little feather passes at goal at the 10-minute mark, tied the game, and was a big one, needless to say. And there's Dale and Scotto. Scott?
All right, Ron, you're right. Here is the first star, Dale. A comeback describes this one. You trailed all night, get the winner with 48 seconds to go. Could you have cut it any closer?
Well, it was a great game. It's obviously exciting for the fans, but I think Buffalo played us tough, and we got our chances, though, and Shields made a lot of great saves, but finally we were able to get to him.
No, you were waiting for a chance to get back on at least the second line, and you looked like the Dale Howardchuk of old tonight. Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah, I'm feeling better all the time. This last week's really helped my groin, and I think the more I play, the better I feel. I think it gets you into the game more, and I think our line had a good game. We had a lot of chances, but we just got to bury a few more.
You get the opener in their building to take home ice advantage away. How big is that?
Well, the first game of any series is huge, and Buffalo's a scrappy bunch. I mean, they never say die, and we know we're going to have our work cut out every night. This is the kind of series you can't look ahead because they'll sneak up on you.
How about the scrappiness tonight? Did they throw you off your game, draw you into some exchanges you would rather have not have been in tonight in some cases?
Well, I think sometimes you just can't help it. You know, everybody tempers flare, and everybody's got emotions running, but I think for the most part we did a pretty good job. But we got a big goal at the end of the second period by Renberg, and that propelled us for the third.
All right, Dale, thanks for your time. Congratulations.
Thanks, Scott.
Ron, back to you.
Scott, thanks a lot. Dale Howardchuk echoing Greg Millen's remark that goal at 19:59 of the second was huge. And Kelly Rudy, with 1:20 to go, we sat here preparing for overtime. He says, you know what, Ron, we could see the winner yet. Not a chance. Find out how he knew there would be a game winner in the final minute of play when we come back on Molson Hockey Night in Canada, the 1997 Stanley Cup playoffs on CBC from Marine Midland Arena and the Broadcast Center in a moment.
You've never seen anything like it, and it's headed for Canadian Tire. More selection, more parts for more makes and models of cars and light trucks, more quality brand names like Certified Brakes, Monroe Shocks, and TRW suspension parts. So now, you'll get the right parts when you need them at guaranteed low prices. Canadian Tire, Canada's auto parts store, made better.
Hi. I cover the weather all across Canada, but no one covers the country like Comfort and Quality Inns and Hotels. Just look at this coverage. Out west and throughout the prairies, we see widespread locations across Ontario and Quebec. This coverage continues right through the Maritimes, all backed by a 100% satisfaction guarantee. The 7-day forecast calls for more travelers discovering we've got something for everyone, practically everywhere. And that's more than I can say about my forecast.
Well, I was in the neighborhood first, and Dave came up to see how I did get such a good lawn. I went over and I peeked into his tool shed, and he was using Turf Builder. Dave's secret is to follow whatever I do. Any spot you look is nice and green and thick.
With last year's drought, our lawn still came right back because we had good root structure.
I would never consider using anything other than Scott's. I have the best lawn in the neighborhood. I think Brad has some nice spots on his lawn, but I think overall I have a better lawn.
Out here, you have real power. People compete for your business. Everyone buys from whoever offers the best product. And if they stop offering the best product, you go across the street and you don't have to pay a price for changing your mind. Our name is ING Direct. We knew he were not a bank, at least not like any bank you've dealt with before. We're something different. A simple way to save and borrow money that gives you real power. Not just in how you transact. Anyone can do that. No, the power to earn higher interest on your savings, pay less on loans. And at ING Direct, we won't make you pay a monthly fee or service charge because we don't have to. Care to know more? Call 1-800-ING Direct and save your money.
Big win for the Flyers, 5-3. Kelly, how'd you know there was going to be a winner in the last minute?
I just had a real feeling with a minute to go, Klatt had the puck along the boards, and he didn't do anything silly with it. He didn't throw it out to the point where the pass could be intercepted. He threw it kind of in behind the net. There was a big scrum again, and Podine came around, and Shields didn't even see him. I punched you.
Yes, you did. You were so happy with yourself. A lot like someone else. Anyhow, you know, they talk so much about the Legion of Doom in the second line with Dale Hawerchuk stepping up, and Terry Murray said last night, our third line of Otto Klatt, Podine has been really big for us, and they'll have to be, because the front lines... you wanted to ask Greg and Ken something here about a big chance for Buffalo lately.
I did, Greg. I really agreed with your comment. Randy Bird standing in front of the net. You think he's going to go back after the game now and say to his D, you got to shoot the puck. I'm getting beaten in front here.
I think so, Kelly. You know, you called it after one that they weren't shooting enough, and the power play has been a problem for the Buffalo Sabres. You mentioned they were shooting it okay after one, but they certainly got away from it as this game progressed. And, you know, anytime you see a forward taking all that abuse in front, you want the defense to shoot the puck. I also agree with your point about the sideboards. You know, the Sabres will run at forwards. We saw it a lot against the Ottawa Senators. If you wait long enough, sooner or later, somebody will get free on their one-on-one defensive man coverage, and that's how they scored the winner tonight.
Paul Coffey was banged up, and we worried because he had a knee injury in the first round, and yet he hung tough, and I thought was, like Hawerchuk, a real veteran presence for them.
And it was a great play by Coffey, too, at the blue line to hold that puck in.
Absolutely. Paul's such a veteran, and he knows what it takes in the playoffs, and we saw his point total is the lowest it's been in his NHL career, and he just, a great game, and you love to see it from a guy like Paul. Great guy.
Nice to have the four of us. We're very much in the spirit of the game, all talking. 5-3 Philadelphia Flyers grab Game 1 at Marine Midland Arena. Back to wrap on Molson Hockey Night in Canada and the Stanley Cup playoffs from CBC after this.
A gentleman mustn't allow perspiration to run amok. Thus, new right guard clear stick. All the protection of a white stick with no flaky white stuff. New right guard clear stick. Anything less would be uncivilized.
Critics are calling the #1 movie in the country, the first great action film of the year. Volcano is terrific, spectacular, non-stop excitement. Take the ride. You'll have a hell of a time. Volcano. Now playing.
They meet every weekend on these hallowed and verdant fields. These weekend warriors, garden variety gladiators versus Mother Nature. It is a battle ultimately decided by power.
At the Home Depot, you'll find more of the best brands of power equipment for your lawn and garden.
Out here, only the strong survive.
It's not easy being an investor these days. You're surrounded by financial institutions, either so impersonal you can't get their attention, let alone advice, or they're only looking after their own best interests. Fortunately, there's a better way. At Investors Group, we work one-on-one over the long term. First, understanding your needs and goals, then offering a complete choice of financial solutions with strong performance. With Investors Group, you're worth more.
Excellent first game in this series, and here's the game-winning goal with 47 seconds to play. Sean Podine on the wraparound gets it 5-3 the final. Tomorrow at 2 ET, 11 a.m. Pacific, we're on the air from the Meadowlands. Then tomorrow evening at 7:30 Eastern, 5:30 Mountain, it's the Edmonton Oilers, the Colorado Avalanche, coast to coast. For all of us, hope you enjoyed the Sabres and the Flyers this evening from the Broadcast Center in downtown Toronto. So long.
CBC Sports, home of the champions. The federal election.
The national election stories you won't find anywhere else.
This is the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation.
Red River Threat, the defenses that are holding the community that's swamped. And Election Encounter.
I'm here to take a bus test.
Old teammates, new rivals meet on the campaign trail.
The Saturday Evening News with Noreen Virgin.
Good evening.